Good morning. It's 7 a.m. on Monday, May 24th. Today in Baton Rouge, expect to see cloudy skies with a high of 84. Coming up today on Off the Bench, presented by All-Star Toyota, Wilson Alexander, the advocate, joins the show at 7:30, and we have our latest weekend winners at 8 a.m. You can follow today's show on Twitter or Instagram at OTB_ESPN or by subscribing to YouTube for new content every day. You can also check us out on Cox Sports Television. Hour number one of Off the Bench starts now.
Let we go!
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jacob Hester and T-Bob Hebert.
Yeah!
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Hey, they said I gotta come off the bench.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. Yo.
Yo, what's happening, y'all? Welcome in. It is Monday morning here on OTB. Hope you had a wunderbar weekend. I know that I did. I think the boys did as well. Jake's still down in Florida. I see on Instagram he's having excellent birthday celebrations for his father-in-law. I saw a lot of cut-off jeans, a lot of mullets, a lot of fake tattoos, stuff like that. So we wish Jake the most fun on vacation. We'll check in with him later this week, see how the beach life is going. Kenny Salter, Jacques Cormery, shout out to everybody in the chat right now. If you want to go to youtube.com/1045ESPN, share the stream, everything else like it, that helps us out. But we are here to recap what was a wild weekend of sports. A lot of sports on the docket this weekend, right? You got a lot of your NCAA sports entering their championship tournament sort of season. You had LSU baseball in a critical spot. You had hockey playoffs, NBA playoffs. You got golf. So a ton to break down on this Monday morning. Crowds are back in a big way. Look forward to weekend winners. We'll talk about them more. Mario and Danny hanging out, producing the show, doing incredible work as always. It's going to be a good day. Okay, I was wondering, Muso's not in the chat. That is Mario speaking as Muso in the chat. Muso, you got to remember to log out to Gmail on the computer. All right, let's go ahead and dive in to some headlines brought to you by Barbecue Guys.
OTB headlines are brought to you by Barbecue Guys. They're your one-stop shop for everything outdoor kitchens and living. Barbecue Guys, helping America host better barbecues since 1998.
Well, I'll be damned. LSU baseball boys gone done and did it. It was hairy. I mean, you heard us Friday morning, right? Energy was a little sketchy. People were worried. It was kind of a somber type of show. LSU had lost on Thursday. Season was on the line. Well, it got even scarier before it got better. In fact, if it was a movie, LSU baseball was hanging off of the cliff by their fingertips on the very edge of death, and it was at that moment. He said no more. They managed to pull themselves up. They threw the antagonist off down behind them, and they end up winning the series. Well, so many hero moments to break down. We'll get all of them, but Game 2, Friday night, LSU managed to take it 12-6 in 13 innings. Zach Arnold breaking the game wide open in the 13th. Bases loaded, 2 outs. He comes up with a big 2-run hit that leads to a 6-run explosion. That Game 2 win ends up being Coach Mainieri's 1,500th win of his career. Congratulations to Coach, becoming just the 5th coach in NCAA history to accomplish his goal. And then with Game 3, the rubber match, the season on the line, tournament hopes on the line, Mikhail Hilliard, the senior, once again comes up huge. LSU gets the 8-2 win, smacks a few homers along the way, and what do you know? LSU baseball team finishes 34-21 overall, 13-17 in the SEC, which is, doesn't sound impressive, but if you look at the context, started 1-8 in SEC play, finished 12-9, winning 4 of the last 5 SEC series. The one series they lost in there, they even managed to take a Sunday game off of the SEC champs, Arkansas. So really strong finish here. And they enter the SEC tournament as the 9 seed. They will play UGA Tuesday at 4:30 p.m. If they win that game, they are guaranteed to be in, I would think. Already, though, it feels like this LSU team has done enough to get into the tournament. Certainly a lot of locals will, I think, argue that point. It remains to be seen how the national committee will treat it. We'll talk to Wilson Alexander about this team coming up here at 7:30. He can give us some insight. Here is Coach Mainieri on that Sunday game and the win over A&M and Hilliard being the key.
Trey got us started with a nice base hit. It seems like whenever he leads off the game with a base hit, we have a good offensive day. He just is like the straw that stirs the drink for us. And they made a couple of errors early in the first inning there that helped us get going. But then we got some big hits there, and 3 home runs in 1 inning obviously was huge. But the story of the game was Mikhail. He just went out there and dazzled him again and did a phenomenal job.
Yeah, 4 starts in a row now. Mikhail Hilliard has been absolutely fantastic. There's so much good to break down. We'll do it more at 7:15 as well. Congratulations to the boys, though, getting it done. And the PGA Championship, speaking of getting it done for the boys, how about they getting it done for the old fellas? Phil Mickelson, at 50 years old, wins the PGA Championship, shoots 6 under, edges out the young gun Brooks Koepka, becomes the oldest player ever to win a major, breaking that 50-year-old threshold, right? Back in 1968, Julius Boros was 48 when he won the PGA Championship. Well, now you have a 50-year-old major winner in Phil Mickelson. Just give you an idea of how long these odds were entering the weekend. It was quite literally 250 to 1. So if you bet on Mickelson, you have been rewarded for your irrational faith in the lefty. Great job as Mickelson wins his 6th major. A lot of great visuals, great scenes, crazy crowd shots. That we'll break some of that down in weekend winners as well. Congrats to Phil Mickelson. In LSU softball news, do not mess with Coach Torina's crew, okay? We talked about it all year long. Toughness wins out in the end. Every single weekend series almost, it felt like this year, LSU would enter Game 3 tied, and they would come out on top. Well, this weekend was no different. They took Game 1 against UL 10-3. They lost Game 2 0-2. And then on Sunday, Game 3, season literally on the line. Loser goes home. Winner goes to the Super Regional. They get it done with the 8-5 win. And how about this? They even gave up a solo home run on the first pitch. Never blinked. This LSU team, they were trained for this moment. They're now 5-0 in these series-deciding games. So with the back against the wall, you don't want to face LSU softball. It's now the 9th Super Regional in school history. 7th under Coach Torina, 6th straight under Coach Torina as well. They will play host to Florida State this weekend. The winner gets to go to OKC. Interestingly, we mentioned rubber matches, right? It is the 3rd time that LSU will be facing Florida State in a Super Regional. They won in 2017, lost in 2018. So this is the long game rubber match here for the LSU Tigers. Speaking of a former LSU Tiger, TJ Finley is set to announce his transfer decision today at 11 a.m. Figure out where TJ Finley will be playing football come this fall. Interestingly, we talked about it a bit last week. Very familiar names on this list. Finley told AL.com that it's come down to Alabama, Auburn, Penn State, or Houston. He did say that playing against his former team was, quote, a major factor. Is it major in that he wanted to? Is it major in that he doesn't want to? That remains to be seen. But we can discuss maybe his best landing spot a bit more later on. In LSU women's golf news, after 3 rounds, LSU's in a potential position to make the top 8 and move on to match play. They're 8 over overall, 11th overall, 3 strokes off of the top 8, which they would have to get to after today's round. If they do that, they enter match play, the final 8 teams. That begins on Tuesday. So let's see if the girls can get it done today. Speaking of crazy baseball over the weekend, how about the Southern Jaguars getting it done? SWAC champs, man. 7-6 winners over Jackson State on a 3-run game-winning home run by Neil Borgos. A crazy highlight as well as the Jackson State player trying to keep the ball in the ballpark quite literally ran through the wall. I guess somebody had forgotten to lock the door. It led to like an interesting review period, but it ends up being a home run in the end. How about it? The reason why this is so crazy? We stumbled across this fact last week talking about Southern baseball, but Jackson State was 24-0 in conference entering the SWAC tournament. They won their first 3 games of the SWAC. So they were 27-0 entering that game. Southern gets it done, hands them their first loss of the season, automatic berth into the NCAA tournament, and a SWAC championship. Congratulations to the Jags. That's just awesome, dude. In the NBA playoff news, speaking of awesome, there's a few great moments. Maybe none greater than Trae Young silencing the crowd in Madison Square Garden as the Hawks come out 107-105 winners over the New York Knicks. A spectacular game throughout. Maybe not as exciting of a game, but impressive nonetheless. The Phoenix Suns beat the Los Angeles Lakers 99-90. Scary moment for Chris Paul where he leaves the game. Suns fans are devastated. CP3 fans are devastated. It's kind of one of those like, here we go again type of moments. And then CP3 comes back and the Suns close it out. Devin Booker, Ayton, really that whole Suns team. LeBron James played well. Anthony Davis, nowhere to be found. As Davis has put the loss squarely on his broad shoulders, and quite frankly, I would say that's probably where it belongs. You have to have those guys show up in the playoffs, and Davis was a non-factor for much of the night last night. And in game one on the Eastern side of the bracket, the Philadelphia 76ers take care of business against the Wizards, 125-118 winners, and the Grizz come up with a huge 8-1 upset, beating the Jazz in game one in Utah, 112-109. Pretty wild here when you look at what the Grizz have done recently, knocking the Warriors out of that play-in to get that A seed, now winning game one. If that's not justification of the play-in setup, I don't know what is. The Grizzlies being rewarded for playing their best basketball when it matters most. So we got some more NBA talk coming up in hour 3 with our guy Andrew Lopez. Those are your headlines brought to you by Barbecue Guys. One more little note for tonight. Hold the Rope. The new Skip Bertman documentary on SEC Network debuts tonight at 6 p.m. They had an unreal viewing party last night over at LeBear's packed house. Skip's birthday. Huge LSU baseball names. You saw the documentary. They got to do a Q&A with Mark Kinderman, the director. Well, we'll have Mark on later this hour, 9 a.m., and we'll get to really dive into this film, what attracted him to the project, what it meant to him. I'm very excited to talk to Mark, so you're not going to want to miss that to kick off hour number 3. All right, those are your headlines. Coming up next, let's dive into this LSU baseball weekend as they got it done once again with their back against the wall. More Off the Bench coming up next.
OTB headlines are presented daily by Barbecue Guys. Remember, the most popular grill on the market is Blaze Grills, premium gas grills that combine expert engineering and dependable performance, all backed by a best-in-class lifetime warranty. Visit barbecueguys.com or our local showroom to learn more about Blaze Grills. Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
GEAUX Roof.com. GEAUX. You know what that spells. It spells go. You know that colloquially is, it means the locals, right? They're from Louisiana. They care about the community because they're a part of the community. And that's why they make sure at Go Roof that you have the best experience that you can with your roofers. That's why they give things like a free professional estimate. It doesn't cost any money to have them come out and look at your situation. All you do is you call them up 927-8300. When they answer the phone, you hit them with the roofs up. They come out there, let you know exactly what's going on. You then make a fully informed decision about what comes next. Does it need to go the insurance route? Does it not? Monthly payments? Whatever the case may be, they allow you and work with you to figure it out. Then how about standing by your work after the job is done? Obviously, everybody's license bond insured, but a 2-year workmanship guarantee on top of the manufacturer warranty. You get a beautiful new roof every single time. Go to GoRoof.com today.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the JimsFirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the JimsFirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
A certified pre-owned vehicle means that it's been certified by factory-trained technicians. It meets a stringent criteria of over 155-point inspection. We want to make sure that vehicle is mechanically sound and that we have a warranty to back it up. There's no mileage limitation. You can be assured that you're driving a vehicle, you got a good value, you'll get that special financing, those special incentives on certain models, and some of the other amenities that you get with a certified pre-owned vehicle.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana Products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana Barbecue Sauce, Louisiana Molasses Mustard, Spicy and Sweet Barbecue Rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CIA.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for Monday's AFR presented by Relief Windows. We'll recap LSU's weekend in College Station, and we'll start to preview the SEC baseball tournament. Join us 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
Hey, what up, y'all? Welcome back to Off the Bench. Hope you're having a great Monday morning if you're driving into work. Thank you for hanging out with us. Have some laughs along the way. Break down some LSU baseball as what a job by the boys. Again, given the everybody's, some people are going to come after me for being this excited about a 13-17 year. But again, in the context of this year, what these guys have done over the past 2 months is very impressive to me. Because of that 1-8 start, their back has been against the wall week in and week out, and yet they managed to go 12-9 down the finish, winning 4 or 5 SEC series. Along the way, a ton of do or die type of moments. Just a ton of do or die moments, even in this weekend specifically. This weekend alone, and time again, somebody stepped up and made the big play. Something that was missing early on. Like one of the main reasons why you fell to 1-8 in SEC play to start the season was because you couldn't, you were doing a lot of good. Or think back to the Tennessee series. Did a ton of good to reach these big tipping points, but in those tipping points, you consistently failed to make the play. It feels like in the latter half of this season that has flip-flopped, and they've been pretty consistently making said play. And when you think back to how we felt on Friday, it kind of felt like this season was over, right? You had all the injuries on Thursday. All of a sudden, we thought Gavin Dugas was going to be out for the weekend. Well, shout out to Gavin Dugas. His return, one of the main tone setters of the weekend, right? In a weekend where toughness was on display throughout all of the sports kingdom. I mean, you think about the LSU Lady Tigers toughing it out, winning that Game 3, the softball team, right? You think about CP3 exiting the game and coming back. You think about LeBron suffering one of the most horrific eye jabs that really sports have ever seen and managing to come back. Well, here is Gavin Dugas taking a horrible hit to the ribs, nearly breaking his ribs, Thankfully, nothing broken. Coming back to play immediately the next day. He hits 2 home runs through the rest of the weekend. Even has a diving catch directly on those ribs later on. Shout out Gavin Dugas. Because, like, even if you don't have broken ribs, like, even if they're just bruised, that hurts. And everything in athletics is built through your core, through your midsection. Gavin Dugas' return setting the tone for this team. How about the toughness of in game 2, a game you have to have? Your starter, A.J. Labus, coming out and just really struggling, right? Giving up 6 runs and not even 2 innings. All of a sudden, your season looks done. You're toast, right? Well, it's at that moment, and this is what is fascinating to me. And this is the ultimate example of the concept of team, right? And everybody stepping up and getting contributions from the entirety of the team, from the corners of the team, from the unused kind of dark places of the team, from the weaknesses of the team. The bullpen has, quite frankly, maybe been the biggest weakness all season long. A lot of those early season struggles especially were failures to get those final 3 outs. So what happens when in game 2 you're down 6 runs and the bullpen has to take over in the second? They got it done. In fact, over the weekend, and shout out Wilson Alexander for his 3 strikes article. We'll talk to Wilson coming up next. But he points out the bullpen giving up just 1 run over 17 2/3 this weekend. And again, you want to highlight that game 2 because it took everyone. Labus didn't have it. He leaves. You got the senior, Aaron George, coming in and finishing the inning. Then you got the freshman, Michael Fowler, coming in and giving you 2 scoreless. Admittedly, I'd never even heard of Michael Fowler. Ty Floyd enters with the bases loaded, 1 out. He gets you out of it. He then carries you through the 8th. Garrett Edwards comes in. He gives you 2 scoreless, and then you go to the big dog, Devin Fontenot, and he, too, comes through and retires 9 batters. 9 of the 10 that he faced. The only guy he didn't retire intentionally walked. Good on him for just refusing to pitch to Frizzell after being burned, right? Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, absolutely shame on me. LSU not going to get fooled a second time. So this bullpen, the greatest weakness that they had, stepped up when they needed it most. They get it done in game number 2, and that sets up the rubber match with everything on the line. And if you want to talk about finding ways to finish strong despite having a poor beginning of the season, in a lot of ways, the starting pitcher for game 3, Mikael Hilliard, represents a microcosm of this entire LSU team. As Hilliard finishes play incredibly strong. Here's a tweet from Cody Worsham, his final SEC stats. So these are conference-only stats for Mikael Hilliard. He finishes with a 3-0 record, a 2.84 ERA, 24 Ks, a 2.16 opponent batting average. And this is a man that struggled early on. Now, not bad as I thought. The Hilliard storyline through the year, once you actually look up his numbers, is a bit more interesting than you might remember. But he got smoked against Oral Roberts. Had a terrible outing there. He then had another pretty bad outing against Southeastern not long after that. And it seems like it was at that point that everybody kind of assumed, okay, his story is written. He'll never recapture that freshman form. That is Mikael Hilliard. He got left behind, quite frankly. And then when his boys needed him most, Jaden Hill goes down. You're kind of puttering through some Sundays. You try every other option, and then you eventually land back at old reliable, the senior. Can we count on you? When his boys needed him most, he ends up being at his best. And how can you not cheer for someone that manages to step up and live in that moment the way that Mikael Hilliard has, not just this week, but these last 4 weeks? I mean, we talked about even in the one series you lost out of your last 5, that critical Arkansas Sunday game that you got, every single win, a key piece of getting to 13 SEC wins in that Sunday game. 5 innings pitched, 1 earned run for Mikael Hilliard. Then you go to Auburn. He gives you 7 1/3 of 1-run baseball. And you end up not winning that game, but not because of Mikael Hilliard. Alabama, he gives you a strong 5. And then yesterday against Texas A&M, only 2 runs over 7 innings, and they get the win and get to 13. And I love the fact that just statistically, Mikael Hilliard being awarded for this year with a nice 6-0 record to be able to kind of look back on when he's old and gray and thinking back to this year. Because make no mistake, LSU had no other answers. They were dead in the Sunday waters, and Mikael Hilliard came out of nowhere, stepped up, and has now set this team up not just for single game success, which he did a few times, but for season success. As the Tigers now at 13-17 feel like a team. I'd have to check. I need to double check where their RPI is, and I'm sure Wilson can help us out. We're going to talk to Wilson Alexander next. But LSU now doing what they need to do in order to make this NCAA tournament. And with Auburn winning the first 2 games this weekend and LSU losing on Friday night, it certainly felt like they might not even make the SEC tournament. What a difference a few innings can make. So they're in the SEC tournament Tuesday against Georgia, 4:30 p.m. If they win that, I would say they're for sure in. If not, I think they're still probably in. Look, there are definite questions, right? I don't know about this team's ability to make a run. I like the overall winning form of the team right now. And I love the fact that you have the bullpen step up in the way that they did this weekend. I hesitate to say that's going to be something that you can rely on, like for sure, going forward. I do feel like you can rely on Mikhail Hilliard right now. I feel like you can rely on Landon Marceau. AJ Labus is in a tougher spot. Now, who starts Tuesday, that remains to be seen. But right now, Labus, look, he gives up the 6 runs in 1 1/3. It is his shortest outing of the year. Labus has now allowed 25 earned runs over his last 4 starts. And I don't know, the hangover effect is it soreness? Is he tired? I don't know. But ever since that incredible complete game that Labus gave you against Ole Miss to win game number 2 against Nikhazy, he's just kind of struggled. He just hasn't had it. And so when you combine that with Marceau also leaving the game for soreness, look, make no mistake, there are some real worries about what this team, how the starting pitching is like entering the NCAA tournament. I don't know what this team will eventually go on to do, but the fact that they fought and scratched and clawed their way to making that tournament, or I'm assuming they've made it, that is impressive nonetheless. And that gives you some hope. Because during this run, that is one thing that this team has done. If you look at like the contributions from Bianco stepping up out of nowhere, even though I don't think I have DiGiacomo stepping up and starting to get it done. We mentioned Mikhail Hilliard. The bullpen this week, and like the list goes on and on. Unexpected guys rising to the occasion when they needed to. Zach Arnold getting the big hit in the 13th to break that game wide open. So even with all these concerns, like maybe there are people who will, but I do know this. This is definitely not the strongest LSU team. It's still not the team that you want coming to visit your regional. Like if you're La Tech and you're playing host, you don't want the LSU team that clobbered you twice coming to face you once again, this time with the NCAA tournament online. Not to say La Tech's not better or won't win, but like it's just, that's a live dog coming to town. Live tiger, if you will. All right, coming up next, let's talk to Wilson Alexander from The Advocate. We'll break down the series NCAA tournament, where LSU stands going forward. Keep it locked right here on Off the Bench.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Go to centralplumbing.org, centralplumbing.org for all of your plumbing needs. 925-8552 is the number, 925-8552. Look, Central Plumbing's been at it, y'all, for nearly 50 years at this point, which is just wild. And especially if you kind of look at the humble beginnings of Central Plumbing and where they were at back 50 years ago to where they are now, where they have this huge fleet and they can fulfill whatever your needs may be, not just residential, but commercial needs as well. They have the insurance, paperwork, and personnel. When you look at that growth, that sustained success over time, there's only one way that you do that. And that's if your customers are consistently satisfied with how you're serving them. And that is the case at Central Plumbing. Flat rate pricing means there's no like surprise or hidden fees. Of course, everybody's licensed, bonded, and insured. Great warranty after the work is done. You have any plumbing problems, don't think twice. Just call Central Plumbing 925-8552, 925-8552. Go to centralplumbing.org today.
We opened up the playbook and expanded our coverage. Listen daily in high definition on 98.1 HD2. We are 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
$29,990 for a new 2021 Ford F-150. Bayou Ford wants to put you in a brand new 2021 Ford F-150 for just $29,990. And new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Have you been issued a ticket for texting, speeding, or other traffic violations? Have you made a mistake? We all have. You're not a bad person. Call the law offices of O.C. Brown at 225-343-1111 or connect with us online at ocbrown.com.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her Auctioner primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an Auctioner care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioner Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Can you feel it? Spring is almost here, and if you got a new boat for Christmas or you just want to take your boat to a new level, you want front-to-back boat service, HD displays, live sonar that show the fish before you cast, trolling motors. At Front to Back, they got not one, but two NMEA certified techs for all of your marine electronic needs. How does a brand new speaker system sound? Well, guess what? They do that too. So call 225-928-9644 or go to Front to Back Boat Service.
50 years ago on Easter Sunday, Breck's Baton Rouge Zoo proudly opened our doors, and we've been hopping ever since. 5 decades of connecting people with animals, teaching our community about the problems facing wildlife and how we can help, and working with zoos across the world to protect endangered species. Today, our future is taking flight by stretching the possibilities of what your zoo can become, while we keep it fun and affordable for everyone. Thanks for coming along.
It's no secret, the best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials.
Join us for a Monday's edition of Jimmy Ott's Game Time, presented by Bed Rivers, live from Rouge Creole from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. We recap all the action from this past weekend and preview the rest of the week. We got action. It's Game Time. 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
Hey, what's going on, y'all? Welcome back to OTB. Jake on vacation, T-Bob, Mario, and Danny hanging out with you today. Great stat by Nookie in the chat. As since that Vanderbilt series, LSU actually has more SEC wins than do the Commodores, to give you kind of some of the form that LSU's been in recently. Also a bit easier portion of the schedule. Let's talk to Wilson Alexander, though. You know we love Wilson on this show. We constantly reference the three strikes articles that he has every Monday. It's just a great, quick read. Give you like good, meaty, chunky bites of what happened over the weekend in case you missed anything. So check out Wilson's work on The Advocate. Wilson, let's start here. The most obvious question first. Do you feel right now that LSU, with the wins this weekend, has done enough? Like, are they in the NCAA tournament today?
It's hard to say. I mean, just because, you don't know what the NCAA selection committee is going to decide, but they have to feel like they've given themselves a really good chance. I mean, they're right in the middle of that conversation. I think that they could definitely be in, even if they were to lose to Georgia tomorrow, but you don't know if the NCAA, committee is going to pick 8 or 9 SEC teams. Right now, LSU would be that 8th or 9th, and so they can beat Georgia tomorrow. I think that would leave absolutely no doubt that they're in, but they might be able to get in even if they were to lose.
So, okay, so a bit more on still on that bubble. Maybe not as bullish as hopeful as I think a lot of LSU fans are maybe looking for there. So then the Georgia game, still uber important, right? You win, and you basically are guaranteed to get into that point. Who's going to go for them on Tuesday? Who's going to take them out tomorrow?
We don't know for certain at this point. They were considering trying to save Mikael Hilliard for this game, but realized that the last game of that series was just too important, had to make him go as far as he could. And so you're probably looking at Landon Marceau because he had a pretty short start on Thursday. He would be coming back on short rest, but because he only threw 60 pitches, that might make him available. If he's feeling strong again, of course, that's the reason he came out of that start. He wasn't quite feeling like himself. Will Helmers would also be an option. He's still available. Did not pitch this weekend. But if Landon's feeling good, I would imagine they go with him. But we'll know for sure this afternoon when they make an announcement.
What about AJ Labus? And I mean in multiple different ways. Obviously, the shortest outing of the year for him, probably still too short. Throw again on Tuesday. Is that possible? But also, and then I guess the bigger question, what do you make of the current form of Labus, who after that Ole Miss gem, I think it might have been something I read in your article, had given up, I think, 24 runs in his last 4 appearances. What's going on with Labus right now?
Yeah, it's hard to figure out. I mean, Labus has always been someone who can get, teams can hit him. I mean, he doesn't have overpowering stuff, but he can be really efficient when he locates his pitches well. He misses speeds. He lives on the outer half of the plate, and right now he's just missing a little bit, and he's not getting calls, so he's falling behind in counts, and he's having to throw pitches that are much more hittable, and teams are just getting to him. Even when it's not happening, teams are, even early in the count, teams are just kind of getting to him and hitting his stuff right now. And that's why, he could maybe even be available Tuesday because he didn't, pitch very much on Friday. Although that would be really, really short rest, so you probably wouldn't want to go with him. But even if he was, I mean, he just hasn't pitched well enough recently, I think, to make him an option going into this game. Like you said, I mean, ever since that Ole Miss complete game, not that it's a, the complete game is a reason, but just ever since then, yeah, he has not been great. He's given up at least 5 runs in all 4 starts, 9, 5, 5, 6. And so it's not been a great stretch for him. And that's not great for LSU. At least Mikael Hilliard has been pitching really well, but they had AJ back to form, and they had him, Mikael, and Landon. They'd be pretty well set up for this SEC tournament. AJ needs to figure out whatever's going on.
Yeah, so that's maybe one of the concerns entering the tournament. One of the things that is probably still a concern, but also the most impressive part of the weekend, and I think it's obviously why I led your 3 strikes article, but that is the bullpen, man. The weakness for much of the year, and yet at its darkest hour, when the team needed it most, the bullpen was dominant. 17 2/3, only allowed 1 run over the weekend. What do you think? Like, what were some of the factors? What was your view of the bullpen suddenly stepping up and performing so well?
It was incredible. I mean, you had guys like Michael Fowler, who's a freshman, who has, I think it was only his 3rd SEC appearance when he came into the game there in a crucial spot. I mean, they were losing to Texas A&M. He goes out, he throws 2 in the 3rd scoreless innings. He needs some help from Ty Floyd to get him out of there. But, I mean, he was hitting 95 a couple times with fastball. I don't think we'd have seen that out of him at all. And, that's something to work with. And then Ty Floyd looks just great. I mean, Ty's got a lot of potential. His fastball is really it moves a little bit. It's got some life to it. But he was using his secondary pitches well, too, to complement, and that's something that he's been struggling to do. So all of a sudden he clicks. Garrett Edwards gives you what you've seen out of him. Devin Fontenot has really been good lately, and he gives you another, I think, 3 scoreless innings.
Yeah.
Trent Vittmeyer, he looks more reliable than he ever has been. It looks like some things are still clicking, and they're still not going to have an incredibly deep bullpen, one of the best bullpens in the league or anything. But if they've got 4 or 5 guys they can rely on, that could really be good going into an NCAA regional. It would be tough to make a super deep run in Hoover without an incredibly deep bullpen. But that's just some really good signs going into the postseason here, having those guys pitch like they did.
Yeah, so the bullpen ends up saving game 2 mainly, and really just fantastic performance, holding, just stopping stopping A&M at 6 runs, and then so that set up game 3, and once again the Mikael Hilliard. It's such a weird year for him. The senior, when you needed him most, he continues his recent excellent run through the SEC. I want to talk about his year as a whole because a lot of the chat is kind of pointing out that, look, Mikael maybe wasn't ever as bad as we thought he was. He had a couple of bad outings early on that kind of got him thrust to the back of the line. He was just kind of left there. What's your view on the Hilliard year as a whole?
Yeah, I mean, he wasn't great to start off the year. He was inconsistent. He had a good appearance in a midweek game, and they thought after cutting his hair, and they thought that he was kind of back to his old self, and then he was sort of inconsistent again. His fastball and his curveball weren't playing off each other great. He didn't have incredible command. He just wasn't pitching great in those whatever role that he had there, and then he just sort of continued to fall back into the bullpen. But once he made that Grambling start, he seems much more comfortable as a starter. His teammates have said that he seems more comfortable as a starter. He talks about pitching with a chip on his shoulder now that he's had a chance, and he sort of fell out of things and now back in it. He's trying to keep an edge to himself, and he's just been a revelation. He's been amazing. If they didn't have him, they would not be in this position after losing Jaden Hill. His curveball and his fastball are really playing well off each other again. He's getting his curveball ahead, throwing that in early in the count to get strikes, and then it spins so much that teams just are really having trouble seeing it out of his hand. And then his fastball moves well, and he's playing them off each other so well right now that he looks like a freshman again. Here at the end of his career, he's become the pitcher he was as a freshman again after going through some arm trouble as a sophomore, and then his junior season basically doesn't even happen because of the pandemic, and it's just been amazing watching him pitch over the last month.
Talking to Wilson Alexander, follow his work on The Advocate at WHAlexander_ on Twitter. Okay, last one here, Wilson. When you look at Coach Mainieri's year, obviously this is not the year that LSU fans wanted as a whole, and there's plenty of offseason conversations that will have to take place about the future of the program, et cetera, but in his 1,500th win with that 13-inning crazy game this weekend, it felt like there was a lot of emotion in it for him. What was your read or kind of what was it like to experience? How did Paul Mainieri feel about what went down this weekend?
It was really, really special for him. I mean, he had his oldest son, Nicholas, here. Nicholas lives in South Bend, and he came down for the Alabama series and the midweek game, and then also he traveled over to Texas A&M with them. And so, Paul got to be there with his son, experience this incredible moment, and he thought a lot about his dad in the process. He's there with his son, and he thought about his dad, who, of course, Demi Mainieri won 1,012 games as a junior college coach at Miami-Dade, and now Paul has 1,501 now, actually.
Yeah.
But, he just thought he was reflecting a lot there after reaching that milestone. It was a really special moment for him. He became the fifth coach in NCAA Division I history to have 1,500 wins and a national championship. Joining the likes of Augie Garrido was another one of the guys who accomplished that. It was a really special moment for Paul being able to share. It made him think a lot about his family and his, the connections he has with his dad and his son, and it was just he teared up. I mean, it was emotional for him to get to that. He's had a long career, a successful career on the whole, and I mean, it's hard, it's hard to coach for 39 years in any sport, and he's been able to do it. And so it was a really touching moment for him and his family to reach that milestone.
Yeah, Coach Mainieri, just the fifth coach to reach that 1,500 win threshold. Wilson, thank you so much for joining us this morning, man.
Thank you for having me, T-Bob. Have a great rest of your day.
All right, again, dude, follow Wilson's work on The Advocate. Really, as you can tell, does excellent work when it comes to LSU baseball. WHAlexander_ on Twitter. Well worth the follow there as well. All right, when we get back, let's wrap up hour number one. We got weekend winners getting set to kick off hour number two. A ton to get to there, as it was a very winning weekend. Keep it locked right here on Off the Bench.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Go to All-Star Toyota of Baton Rouge.com, All-Star Toyota of Baton Rouge.com. Look, if you need a new vehicle, All-Star Toyota of Baton Rouge.com is the answer. You go see them off an airline, or you go to the website. Great resource start if you want to check out some of the great 2021 deals that they have. You can live chat with someone right there. How about you check out the Toyota certified used vehicles, right? Maybe you're looking for something a bit more economical, and that's what used vehicles are. But when you go with the Toyota certified used vehicles, you also get things that you never normally get, or things that normally come with only a new car, like a warranty, right? So those service trips are covered and whatnot. So look, just check out what Toyota has to offer in the new space, in the used space. You'll find an answer there. What if you're just looking to rent? I cannot hammer this home enough. Renting from All-Star Toyota is significantly cheaper than your traditional rental company. So check it out today. You want a minivan, whatever you need, they got your back. I love the Sienna. I love the Corolla. Go to allstartoyotabatonrouge.com.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Yo, Jacob Hester here for Patient Plus Urgent Care Center, the place that can be at your convenience during those inconvenient times. I know they've been that for me. I've got 4 boys, right? So sometimes stitches happen, and they have 6 convenient locations, one close to you to be able to be convenient for you. Remember, you can also check in online. PatientPlusUC.com is the website. That way you skip the line as well. Patient Plus Urgent Care Center, get in and get better.
Starting in 1974, Central Plumbing has served Baton Rouge and surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Through these tough and trying times, we want you to remember that the Payne family is here to continue to support and serve you. As a multi-generational business, there is no job that is too big or too small. Residential, commercial, industrial, hospitality, we're here for anything you need. 24/7, 365. Give us a call, 225-925-8552.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
A certified pre-owned vehicle means that it's been certified by factory-trained technicians. It meets a stringent criteria of over 155-point inspection. We want to make sure that vehicle is mechanically sound and that we have a warranty to back it up. There's no mileage limitation. You can be assured that you're driving a vehicle, you got a good value, you'll get that special financing, those special incentives on certain models, and some of the other amenities that you get with the certified pre-owned vehicle.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for Monday's AFR presented by Relief Windows. We'll recap LSU's weekend in College Station, and we'll start to preview the SEC baseball tournament. Join us 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
Yo, what's going on, y'all? Welcome back to OTB. Mario, Danny, and T-Bob hanging out with you. Boys, I think I got a little homework for us tonight, okay? It's not something normally that I do, but I think it'll be a fun exercise. And we come in to talk about it tomorrow. The Hold the Rope documentary debuts tonight, right? 6 p.m. And we're going to talk to Mark Kinderman, the director, about it coming up at 9. But here's the deal. I don't know about y'all. I don't have great, I'm not very cognizant of LSU baseball in the 90s, right? It was before you could easily watch those games. I was growing up out of state. Really, even my LSU football love didn't kick in until I was about like 10 years old, around like 99. I'm guessing, Mario, Danny, get your mic ready as well. Y'all, like, what's y'all's experience with LSU baseball in the Skip Bertman heyday? 5 national championships in 10 years.
Yeah, I'm just like you, man. I'm not super cognizant or have never been that big into LSU baseball growing up, but I did go to LSU. And if you're a student here, if you're a fan of any of the athletic programs here, you know the impact that Skip Bertman has had at a time where LSU baseball, I know, was not that good. Teams from Louisiana weren't supposed to play in Omaha. He came and not only made LSU a winning team, but made them one of the premier programs in all of college baseball, if not the premier program. So, and I've also gotten the chance to work with Skip. I've gotten to produce his show here in this very studio with him and Dan Canterbury. So I've gotten to know him a little bit, and Skip is awesome, man. I'm totally gonna watch that documentary out of my own free will tonight because I want to check it out.
Okay, so good job. Love your enthusiasm for the homework assignment, Mauro. I didn't think you were going to be the problem, though. It's going to be getting Danny on task here. Danny, I'm guessing, well, I don't want to speak for you, but like you're pretty young. Do you have any memories of LSU baseball in the 90s?
No.
Okay. I didn't think so.
They were Miami's bottle champs.
What year were you born, Danny?
96.
Okay, yeah. So that was a few national championships in. I mean, hell, I was 89, right? So even then, like, it kind of the Skip stuff started even before I got there. So, yeah, I think it'll be pretty fascinating as we were three people who all went to LSU. We do this sports talk show where we mainly talk LSU. It's going to be really interesting to see our perspective on LSU baseball, Skip Bertman, what he built, and then even like how it ties in today. Rabelais has a pretty good think piece in The Advocate today where he kind of explores this. You know, you're seeing this documentary about just sheer and utter and overwhelming dominance. And it's a dominance that has led to almost an irrational belief by LSU fans that they will always operate in that space. And it comes at a time where you're happy about finishing 13 and 17 in the SEC. So this is all the things we're talking about, the offseason conversations that have to take place. I'm excited to watch this tonight. I'm excited to talk to Mark Kinderman coming up at the 9 o'clock hour, and we'll give you our report on it tomorrow. There's a lot of talk going on in the chat right now about a Metal Gear Solid movie being made. Metal Gear Solid, a fascinating Hideo Kojima franchise. I don't know, though, and look, and somebody saying that Oscar Isaac's going to play Solid Snake, and I love Oscar Isaac. That's great, right? I don't know that a Metal Gear Solid movie will be great. When you think about, and I think this holds true for most video games, right? Like I just asked the question, what is the best video game movie of all time? And there's not a lot of great answers. I mean, there's not a lot of great answers, quite frankly. And I think a lot of it is because video games are their own kind of unique storytelling medium where you can tell stories in ways that you can't in a traditional movie setup. A lot of that is just like time related. Like think about a Metal Gear Solid movie. What are you talking about? Like 80 hours, 60 hours, 50 hours of gameplay in which over that time that story is being told. How do you then boil down that story to an hour and a half or 2.5 hours and still make it effective? I think that's like really, really hard to do. So that's like when I see a Last of Us movie, or I feel like Uncharted's been floating around forever now. Now they got Tom Holland playing Nathan Drake, which is kind of interesting in its own right. Mark Wahlberg playing Sully. I mean, like whatever. The point is, I don't really care who's in the movies. I kind of have an inherent distrust of video game movies. I mean, look, Survive623 says Mark Wahlberg movie Max Payne was all right. That was a bad movie. But yes, kind of viewed against the backdrop of other video game movies, maybe it was bad. Like, okay, so do y'all have a favorite video game movie of all time? I mean, Dan, I asked you this question during the break, and you mentioned Assassin's Creed, which is one of the worst movies that I've ever seen in my life. It was horrible.
I feel like you're saying that about every movie. It's the worst movie you've ever seen.
Because look, the ones that are good are actually almost just so bad that they're good, right? No, Assassin's Creed's like legitimately up there with Time Machine as some of the worst movies that I've ever seen. I walked out of Time Machine, one of the only movies ever. If I wasn't on an airplane, I would have walked out of Assassin's Creed. But I would have died. I was on there.
I know the Super Mario World movie also did not get the best reception.
I mean, dude, it's an insane movie. But that's kind of exists, and maybe it's just nostalgia. To me, that does tip into so bad and weird that it's kind of good territory. I mean, Dennis Hopper as Bowser with a like random forked tongue. It oddness all around. I mean, look, the old Street Fighter movie with Jean-Claude Van Damme. So bad that it's good. The old Mortal Kombat. I still haven't seen the new one. The old Mortal Kombat's definitely tip into so bad that they're good. But I am really struggling to come up with a video game movie that was just legitimately good. Tomb Raiders with Angelina Jolie were pretty good back in the day. Not bad.
Dune's coming out with a new movie.
Who is?
Dune. They're a video game.
Whoa. Well, yes. I believe Dune was like one of the first ever RTSs, like your StarCraft, Warcraft style games. But Dune is a book. We are not.
But they're also a video game.
It does not matter. We are not. You don't say like there's Harry Potter video games. You're not saying that the Harry Potter movie is is based on video game. Dune is one of the greatest sci-fi novels series, I guess you could say, of all time. That is a book movie firmly, and it looks pretty sweet actually, visually at least. Speaking of visuals, did you see Army of the Dead? Break down more later. Keep it locked right here on Off the Bench.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Oh, yeah, the Sonic movie wasn't bad. Go to RejuveMeMedical.com. It was pretty good, Dan. It was all right. RejuveMeMedical.com. If you want something that was much more than not bad, and I would go so far as to say damn good, you want RejuveMeMedical.com. Restore me, refuel me, rejuve me. You're looking for that energy that you used to have when you were in your 20s, right? When you used to roll out of bed, feel great, roll into bed, and feel great. Well, at Rejuve Me, they understand how aging affects the body, whether in your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, it doesn't matter, better than anyone. And don't think, oh, I'm too young, or oh, I'm too old. Let the experts at Rejuve Me provide you the pathway to accomplishing those goals that you want in terms of feeling good again. Because that's the thing, your body is the guide. It's not one size fits all. They're not going to cram a round peg into a square hole. They're going to look at your labs, and from there, they're going to customize a plan specifically for you. So I'm going to give you a Metairie, Baton Rouge denim. Go to RejuveMeMedical.com.
From the makers of Blue Moon comes Light Sky. An extraordinary citrus sweet brewed with real tangerine peel, only 95 calories. Welcome to the light side of the moon.
During these challenging times, we know your healthcare needs don't stop. Cancer, accidents, injuries, and heart disease are relentless. So we are relentlessly innovating to keep you safe, both virtually and in person, connecting you with providers remotely, advancing clinical spaces, providing rapid and accurate testing, social distancing, and certified cleaning protocols. We are Auctioner, and we will not slow down. Auctioner Health, innovating healthcare.
$29,990 for a new 2021 Ford F-150. Bayou Ford wants to put you in a brand new 2021 Ford F-150 for just $29,990. And new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana Products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Good morning. It's 8 a.m. on Monday, May 24th. Today in Baton Rouge, expect to see cloudy skies with a high of 84. In case you missed hour one of the show, you can now catch that up at the on-demand section at 1045ESPN.com. Coming up in hour number 2, we give you our weekend winners, and in the 9 o'clock hour, Andrew Lopez of ESPN will join the show. You can follow today's show on Twitter or Instagram at OTB_ESPN or by subscribing to our YouTube for new content every day. You can also check us out on CST. Hour number 2 of Off the Bench starts now.
Let me go! All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jacob Hester and T-Bob Hebert.
Yeah!
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Hey, P, they said I got to come off the bench.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. Yo.
Yo, what's going on, y'all? Welcome back, OTB. Hour number 2, kicking off with you. Hope you're having a great Monday. We still got a ton to get to. We got our weekend winners right now. We still got NBA playoffs to break down. Well, the rope coming out tonight. We got some Saints talk as they were in the news once again. We're talking about video game movies. Desperately trying to find a good one. See, the problem is somebody mentioned Wreck-It Ralph. Wreck-It Ralph's a great movie.
Is that a video game movie?
No. Yeah. Now, it has video games in it. Some of the best use of characters, right? When they're having the bad guy meeting and there's like Zangief and everybody else. And it's like, no, I am bad guy, but not bad guy. It's excellent. Watched Wreck-It Ralph again just last week. Great movie. Not a video game movie. I heard Need for Speed with Aaron Paul. I never watched it, but that's supposed to be one of the worst movies of all time, Danny. Who you're accusing me of overusing one of the worst movies of all time while you've not liked a single movie. As a child, I remember loving the original Pokemon movie. I actually cried when Ash got hurt and Pikachu had to spill his little Pokemon tears onto Ash's dead body and bring him back to life. I remember being incensed that the local movie critic for the AJC gave it an F. I was furious.
Oh, my God.
Furious. I kind of get it as an adult, but still, I loved it at the time. Detective Pikachu movie, actually pretty legitimately good. Maybe the leader in the clubhouse. I know people like Silent Hill movies. I've never seen those. Resident Evil movies. If Musso was here, he would stand up for those. I'm loving Resident Evil 8 right now. The Hitman movie with Timothy Olyphant. Also, not bad. Pretty good. So there's some. It's like kind of exists there in that Tomb Raider setup. Okay, it is hour 2, though. 8 a.m. here on a Monday. So what that does is, what that means is it's time for your weekend winners.
That's how winning is done.
That's right. We can't have anyone freak out there, okay? We've got to keep our composure. We've got too far.
I'm by winning. I win here and I win there. Now what?
Are you doing what it takes to win a championship?
Wow, winning.
Well, then I guess there's only one thing left to do. What's that? Win the whole thing.
Survived 623 saying, T-Bot, Ready Player One was good. Is that a video game movie? Danny's laughing because I have many thoughts on Ready Player One.
It was not that bad. It was not that bad.
It is not a video game movie. And it's all right until you get to the end, where the entire takeaway movie is the most ass-backwards thing that I've ever seen in my entire life. For a movie that is based on virtual reality in the future, for their takeaway to be like, real life matter. I can't get into it. I can't get into it. What I can get into from this weekend.
Got good morals.
Huge weekend winner. No, Danny, it's got old, outdated morals. Huge weekend winner for this weekend, though. How about the live crowds, bro? I mean, all over the place. What do they say? You never know what you have until it's gone. Well, this last year certainly made you appreciate just how depressing sports can be at times, or just all the juice that you miss. Like, you think back on the bubble last year, where we were just thankful to have something to talk about, but bubble basketball seems like a wet flatulation compared to what you witnessed yesterday. And it's not just basketball, but look, Madison Square Garden was rocking. But you know what's even more fun than crowds being really loud? When you shut crowds up. One of the greatest feelings as a competitor, that's exactly what Trae Young did to the Garden last night, and it was awesome to watch. Phoenix was rolling, dude. A fan base like the Pelicans, starved for success. Been so bad for so long. They thought that they had lost CP3 in game 1. He comes back. The crowd's going crazy. It was awesome, dude. And they kicked the Lakers' butt. beginning to end. I love it. Anthony Davis really struggled, didn't show up, which, look, I will almost guarantee AD goes for like 40 and 20 next game.
I think Ayton deserves his props, though. He gave him the business in game one. We'll see if that can continue.
He did, but I mean, do you because you know more than I do, how do you feel about what AD's going to do in game 2?
Oh, that's the key to the series, obviously, but I think he's going to bounce back. There's no way after the performance he had, he has 2 stinkers in a row. But I think Ayton can hang with them throughout the entirety of the series, and that's going to be a very, very interesting matchup to watch.
Yeah, I watched, we watched a lot of AD, and anytime he has one of these no-show games, the next game he generally just goes the hell off. So we'll see. How about the PGA Championship? Even golf, a sport where you maybe didn't always think it. Maybe this is just me not being the biggest golf guy, but you didn't quite realize how important the fans were to golf. Well, that moment yesterday where Phil Mickelson's walking up to that 18th green, looks like he's, barring a disaster, that he's got the championship wrapped up. The crowd is trailing him. They end up engulfing him, which a lot of people talk about being pretty scary. And Brooke Koepka is all mad because his knee got hit a couple times, whatever. It was an awesome moment. And it was really, really cool to see. How about Taylor Lewan? Look at this video, Danny. It's in the chat there at 8 o'clock. A man of the people. He's at a Nashville Predators playoff hockey game. He's there with his wife and his daughter. And yet he still stands up, full beer chug, rips his shirt off. Fast forward a little bit, Danny. This is him showing off his daughter, cute little girl. He ends up standing up, full beer chug, shirt off, throws another beer up, fully tatted up, getting the people fired up. And then even here locally, we mentioned Tiger Park being back at 100% capacity. It was a beautiful setting for that Game 3 between LSU and UL, and it was packed from the jump. Shout out to live crowds. Huge weekend winner. They're back. What you got, Mario?
Yeah, the crowd's great. I'm with you there. My weekend winner, you mentioned Trae Young, but how about his coach? Nate McMillan has done a great job with the Hawks. They fired Lloyd Pierce back when they were 14-20 and the 11th place in the Western Conference. But ever since then, they've been playing really well, going 27-11 under McMillan. Obviously, they get the win in Game 1 last night inside of Madison Square Garden. In the NBA, I don't think coaches get enough credit a lot of the times. But here's an example of a really good coaching job. Nate McMillan has turned around the Hawks and deserves a lot of credit.
Danny, who you got?
Weekend winner goes out to Nola Gold. Shout out, 29-24 win over Utah at the gold mine, and they move into second place in the East. So shout out Nola Gold.
Rough weekend for Utah,
dude.
And they had a great crowd as well.
Was it nice?
Yeah,
it was
nice
at the gold mine. It was popping.
Yeah.
Did you go?
They had fireworks. Yeah, they had fireworks.
Okay.
It was Military Appreciation Week, so they had a flyover. It was a nice experience.
Hell yeah, boys. Go gold. Second place, 29-20. Look at those guys. I mean, those are some bros right there.
A lot of beers at the end. Yeah.
The boys, the fifth quarter. The beers are back, dude. Let's go. All right, my next weekend winner, LeBron's toughness. I mean, how could it not be? One of the most horrific injuries we've ever seen. An eye poke, scary moment as he laid on the ground for nearly 90 seconds. Thank God that he was able to push through, that the MVP was all right. Shout out to the GOAT, LeBron James. Didn't win, but that's okay because he managed to avoid, horrifically losing an eye there.
My next weekend winner, we're staying in the NBA and going to Memphis, where the Grizzlies got a big 112-109 upset over the top-seeded Utah Jazz. John Morant's going to get a lot of the pub, rightfully so, but how about Dylan Brooks, T-Bob, 31 points in the win yesterday, which surpasses a single-game franchise record for scoring in their debut playoff game that was set by Marc Gasol back in 2011. And I got a lot of respect for Dylan Brooks because I remember a couple years ago when Andre Iguodala was traded from the Warriors to the Grizzlies, he basically said, I don't want to play here. I'm going to sit out till I get traded to a team that's more in contention right now. And Dylan Brooks didn't like that. Dylan Brooks came out and said, you can choose to do that, but we're going to be competing and competing very soon. They're doing that. Dylan Brooks backing that up, 31 points in a big win for the Grizzlies last night. He is my second weekend winner.
How about it? And you know what's depressing? This will come up a bit later, but the Grizzlies, they are the second youngest team in the NBA, and I think it was like fifth youngest ever to make the playoffs. So there's just really no excuse for New Orleans. Danny, what you got?
Those jerseys are sick. Those Vancouver jerseys that they've been rocking.
Oh, they look good.
They're so
nice. I agree. They look fantastic. The Suns uniforms looked fantastic as well.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
That's my weekend winner. Suns. Shout out. Win over the Lakers. and I'd love to see it.
I mean, it's like we said, right? You're so concerned that like CP3, like what a horrible draw, can't win in the playoffs, and then as a 2 seed, he still has to deal with the defending champs, AD and LeBron, but AD nowhere to be found in Game 1. So we will see. But yeah, geez, just amazed with LeBron. Can't just toughness out of control.
Wash King.
My next weekend winner, Southern baseball. I mean, how could it not be? Not just going on a run and winning the SWAC championship and guaranteeing them a spot in the NCAA tournament, but again, in a sport like baseball, where this should be impossible, Jackson State, if you include the tournament, was 27-0 entering that SWAC championship. 27-0, and yet Southern gets it done. Wins with a 9th inning, 3-run home run. Just an awesome finish. Shout out to Baton Rouge. Shout out to Southern Jaguars, conference champs. A hell of a job by the entire program.
Yep, good stuff. I'm out of weekend winners. If we can move on to a weekend loser, perhaps.
Okay, Danny, you have any more winners? I got a few more to roll through here. Obviously, Trae Young.
Go ahead.
Look, over time. Now, how long has Young been in the league? Is this year 4? This is year 3. Okay. But if you want to talk about, like, kind of potential path that you would want Zion and the Pelicans to follow as well, Trae Young and what he's done in Atlanta and having them in the playoffs now, winning playoff games, that's exactly what you would be hoping for out of Zion. And also watching him do it in the Garden, 75% full, pretty raucous crowd, shutting them up. Then basically holding a finger to his lips after he hits that beautiful game-winning floater and saying it's quiet as F in here. It was just a beautiful sports moment that we've been missing. Shout out to all the old heads. Danny, look at that video right there. I want you to play that video. Big weekend for old people. Obviously, Phil Mickelson kind of championing the weekend for old people. But check out this old couple playing beer pong and tell me if you aren't impressed whenever we get it up here in a minute.
I don't see the link.
Oh,
yeah, I see it.
Yeah, okay. All right, give me your weekend loser while we're filling time here, Mario.
No problem. So nothing's official yet, but the NBA, and they discussed this before, they're discussing the option of adding another in-season tournament. This would be an 8-team single elimination tournament that would pay the players $1 million each for the winning team. This according to Adrian Wojnarowski of ESPN. Apparently, Commissioner Silver is optimistic that the league could entice its players and the teams to agree to some form of mid-season tournament, something like this. There haven't been any advanced talks about the idea, but this is a possibility, and it's not one that I like, T-Bob. I don't really see the point of this. I think it's a little redundant. You're adding more games, but it doesn't really affect playoff seeding. It doesn't really do anything except potentially give the players more money, and NBA players make enough money already. So.
Yeah, I mean, I do think $1 million would still be enough to motivate people, but I feel you, right? I'm of two minds. I love how willing Adam Silver's been to kind of like, sacrifice these sacred cows, if you will. And because, I mean, make no mistake, the play-in is a massive change, but it's already paid huge dividends, and it works. They're trying to capture almost like a European soccer sort of feel with this. I guess the problem is with something like the FA Cup, right? Like an in-season tournament over there in Europe, like that has a tradition that matters. And so winning those things matters. I am with you. I'm struggling to see why does this matter, or why do I put, if I have an injury-prone star, why do I play him in these games? Is it just the money? Like I don't. So
that's what it looks like.
I'm a bit more bullish on it than you are, but motivation remains a key point because it's going to take years to kind of build up the prestige of winning this midseason thing. All right, Danny, you got that video ready to roll? All right, play this. This is for the old people, the weekend winners. Oh, my. Okay, so look, Grandma hits it first. We're talking probably 90 years old. And then look at Gramps, dude, get it done. And the fellas go wild, dude. I like how mad the team is that lost as well. If you're watching on 1045ESPN.com, you're never too old to play beer pong.
It's actually a really famous grandma. She's like all over social media.
Oh, what?
Yeah, she's the grandma of that guy that she was playing against.
She's a TikTok star?
No, like an Instagram star. Like,
wow.
They make like a ton of videos together.
Okay, dude.
They blew up off of Vine originally.
So they've been doing it they've been in the game for a hot minute.
A long time, yeah.
Wow, like a decade of making videos with grandma. That's so wholesome. I had no idea what I was stumbling into watching that beer pong video. Okay, my weekend losers, unfortunately, I think it's kind of Zion. Nothing to do with him being a loser, more of the Pelicans or the franchise he got drafted to, but watching like RJ Barrett gets to play on this stage in the Garden, watching Ja Morant on one of the youngest teams in NBA history get to play on this stage and have success, and really just all the young guns. It is a huge bummer that Zion Williamson is not in that number, and it's really, quite frankly, a pretty direct condemnation of the Pelicans franchise as a whole. When you have all these other inept franchises figuring it out with their young stars, I mean, there's no excuse. If you're not good next year, it might all get blown up. So we will have to wait and see. Those are your weekend winners. All right, coming up next, I want to talk a little NBA playoffs, a little NHL playoffs, a little Superdome news as well. And then at 8:30, we're going to talk a little PGA Championship. As we the head of the Zurich, Steve Worthy coming in, also the 4Kids Foundation, going to give you some perspective on what that golf weekend was like. Keep it locked right here on Off the Bench.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
Go to therelaxationcompany.org. The Relaxation Company is out there at Pelican Point. It's in Gonzales. If you are looking to relax, right? You want a massage, you need to chill. And this could be like a functional, like I really need you to get in there and make it hurt and like work it out type of massage. Or how about this? A 90-minute Swedish massage for $100. Swedish massage, the most relaxing massage in the game. What are we talking about, people? Get out to Pelican Point in Gonzales. It's got an excellent location the Relaxation Company does there. And when you go in, not only are you supporting locally owned business, a family-owned business, but you're supporting a lifetime worth of work. As Jennifer DeLotte's been in the massage game for nearly 2 decades, 18 years, and now she's finally got her own place. It's the culmination, like I said, of a life of dreaming, a life of working, support local business while getting a massage. Everybody wins, okay? Go to the Relaxation Company, relaxationcompany.org. Go to Pelican Point today.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Yo, Jacob Hester here for Patient Plus Urgent Care Center, the place that can be at your convenience during those inconvenient times. I know they've been that for me. I've got 4 boys, right? So sometimes stitches happen, and they have 6 convenient locations, one close to you to be able to be convenient for you. Remember, you can also check in online. PatientPlusUC.com is the website. That way you skip the line as well. Patient Plus Urgent Care Center, get in and get better.
A certified pre-owned vehicle means that it's been certified by factory-trained technicians. It meets a stringent criteria of over 155-point inspection. We want to make sure that vehicle is mechanically sound and that we have a warranty to back it up. There's no mileage limitation. You can be assured that you're driving a vehicle, you got a good value, you'll get that special financing, those special incentives on certain models, and some of the other amenities that you get with the certified pre-owned vehicle.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
Can you feel it? Spring is almost here, and if you got a new boat for Christmas or you just want to take your boat to a new level, you want front-to-back boat service, HD displays, live sonar that show the fish before you cast, trolling motors. At Front to Back, they got not 1, but 2 NMEA certified techs for all of your marine electronic needs. How does a brand new speaker system sound? Well, guess what? They do that too. So call 225-928-9644 or go to Front to Back Boat Service.
50 years ago on Easter Sunday, Breck's Baton Rouge Zoo proudly opened our doors, and we've been hopping ever since. 5 decades of connecting people with animals, teaching our community about the problems facing wildlife and how we can help, and working with zoos across the world to protect endangered species. Today, our future is taking flight by stretching the possibilities of what your zoo can become.
Join us for a Monday's edition of Jimmy Ott's Game Time, presented by Bed Rivers, live from Rouge Creole from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. We recap all the action from this past weekend and preview the rest of the week. We got action. It's Game Time. 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
Hey, what up, y'all? Welcome back to OTB. Weekend winners in the books. Mark, Danny hanging out with you. Still thinking about video game movies. I actually like the Warcraft movie. I know it's supposed to be horrible. A lot of people hated it. And I've seen some deleted scenes that shows you that they, too, suffered from studio overreach. But it's still pretty good. Okay, look, playoffs are here. NBA playoffs, NHL playoffs. It's been a ton of fun recently. One of the best parts is kind of just reliving having these full crowds, right? And one of the headlines that made me very excited when, by the way, do I say massage weird?
I don't think so.
Rivers used to always rip on me for this. And then say like massage. How say massage? Let me hear it.
Massage.
Okay, Danny, let me hear it.
Massage.
Okay, I feel like I'm falling into a Hester Jaguar thing here because I'm hearing the same thing that y'all are saying. Okay, massage. Did I say it?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. Thank you for the validation, Mara. That's what I needed. Yeah. So look. So like, I thought seeing these full crowds, especially in a playoff atmosphere, was very satisfying as a sports fan this weekend. Which is why I was so excited when I'm reading NOLA.com and he just has an article where the Saints say they are expecting the Superdome to be back at 100% capacity this fall. And now they do say that people getting vaccinated is one of the main priorities right now for them. If you're talking about getting to that 100% capacity, you need that herd immunity, whatever. I don't know what the number of people that need to get vaccinated is. There's plenty of resources if you want to go check it out. And what it got me thinking of, not just looking forward to how exciting this fall is going to be or some of the great home games that the Saints have, but it does once again bring up one of the greatest crimes of the pandemic, which is COVID robbing us of what should have been one of the most legendary home schedules that I have ever seen last year, where you had Hall of Fame quarterback matchup against Hall of Fame quarterback time and time again last season, and yet what, like 750 people got to watch, and 3,000. I think it might have been like 6,000. And unfortunately, you'll never get that back. You'll never get Rodgers versus Breeze back in that dome. We had to watch Aaron Rodgers hard count the Saints, just pouring literal salt on the wound as he's in the Superdome, able to get the Saints to jump off sides multiple times in critical situations thanks to his hard count. I mean, the scene that it always makes me think of from movies is that newer Texas Chainsaw Massacre with Jessica Biel, where Leatherface cuts off the dude's legs, and then he takes 2 bags of salt, and he jams them on the bloody stumps. That's what it felt like, watching Aaron Rodgers do that last year. And so I got real anger in my heart, and I got real pain from not seeing Brady versus Breeze with a full crowd, right? You missed out on that, and I hope that everybody else is holding that in your heart, because it's time to come back with a vengeance this year. And if you're talking about elements that could help this Saints team as a transition into the post-Breeze era, and if you're talking about elements that could lead you to like actually have like literal in-game success, getting the Superdome back and raucous and rolling, that's going to be key on the list. I mean, think about this. What does crowd noise help out the most? It helps out the defense, right? This is known. It takes away the offensive line's greatest advantage, which is knowing the snap count, being able to get that half step in a league where half steps are the difference between winning and losing. Being able to get that half step as an offensive lineman, it is critical. It's great. A crowd takes that completely out of it. It leads to just and so that's like an actual like pure functional difference, right? It makes it it leads to penalties as well on offense, and then you get into more intangible benefits, the energy that you can kind of feed off of what it can create. Well, this was a Saints defense. It was already dominant last season, right? And if you're talking about how are you going to have success again this year, it's going to be because of the defense. I mean, we broke down the offense last week. Nick Underhill pointed this out, that despite the fact that they averaged 30 a game, they were actually more ineffective from a drive standpoint than they had then been previously. 20% of their drives, they went 3 and out. It's unheard of in the Breeze Payton era. Well, one of the reasons how they still scored 30 a game is nobody started in their opponent's 50 more than did the New Orleans Saints. Yes. And then, they were second in starting the 50. Nobody started within 25 yards more than did the New Orleans Saints. So those were all easy points set up by the defense. And they did that without a crowd. So now what happens if you give this defense a crowd? When you're looking at some of the lower pass rush numbers, like a Cam Jordan, is that a factor in it? It's certainly something that's worthy of exploring. So if you want this defense to set the offense up again and for Jameis to have that success, I actually do believe that the crowd will be a very functional and impactful part of that equation. And so I can't wait. I mean, the news that they're expecting the Superdome to be at 100% capacity. I mean, I definitely know Tiger Stadium and other smaller places, but big cities, they just because like population density and everything else, they got to be a bit slower rolling this thing out. So that makes me very, very happy. And then and then my brain just gets spinning. So I'm thinking about the Dome, thinking about good times, wins and people partying and second lines and everything. Dude, what if? Massive what if here. But what if, I'm on your brainwaves here, Danny. What if Jameis Winston leads the Saints to the NFC South title? What if Jameis Winston beats Tom Brady and the Bucs twice in the regular season? Now you could be like, well, they might lose the playoffs. That's whatever. We'll get there if that ever happens. Like, I, again, think there's like a 0% chance of this happening. But from a storyline standpoint, having Jameis Winston leave Tampa as a failed number 1 overall pick, go to New Orleans, and then come back, and if he could somehow retain the division against the best to ever do it, and maybe the best team, probably not, I'm not going to go that far. It's probably not the best team that Tom Brady's ever had, but it might actually be close when you look at all the returning talent. Again, the only Super Bowl team ever to return all 22 starters. I think they're set up like the Broncos to dominate this year and win back-to-back like they did at the end of Elway's career. But what if Jameis was able to throw a wrench into that and against his former team get it done? I mean, he would be a hero of New Orleans. You are immediately etched into New Orleans sports lore, and it's a very it's a star-studded lore to etch your name into. So I don't know. I guess I'm just feeling in a good mood this Monday. Crowds back and feeling very optimistic, very positive, and I couldn't help but starting to think about like, what if Jameis Winston actually beats Tom Brady and the Bucs? I don't think it's going to happen, but we'll see. And if it does happen, the full crowds are going to be a key part of it. So look, if you want to go to those games, they're telling you to get vaccinated. I'm thinking you do whatever you want, right? But that's what they're saying is one of their top priorities into filling out the Superdome this fall. I cannot wait. I want to experience again the same things that the Suns fans are going through, that the Predators fans are going to watch your Taylor Lewan chug beers, well, here's to hoping it'll happen this fall. All right, coming up next, talk a little PGA Championship with Steve Worthy, the head of the Zurich and the 4Kids Foundation. Break down what the Mickelson win meant to the golf pros here on Off the Bench. Keep it locked.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Go to DonaldsonGlassEmbody.com, DonaldsonGlassEmbody.com for any car needs that you have. Look, remember, if your car breaks down at your home, place of work, wherever, and you can't move it, DG&B will pick it up, tow it to Donaldsonville. They'll fix it, and then they'll tow it and drop it back off to you. The towing in that is completely free. How about that? And then remember, if you get in an accident, there's nowhere you'd rather go than Donaldson Glass Body. Not just because they're a literal one-stop shop, so like oil change, glass repair, flat tires, wheels, brakes, paint, like anything, they do it all. Like the collision repair, the body shop is the best in the state, hands down. I'll put that on anything. So if you get in an accident, you want to go there for the quality of the work, but just remember, look, the insurance company can't tell you where to go. The police can't tell you who to tow. The answer to both is DG&B. And when you start working with them, you'll become one of the many satisfied customers that we see in the chat constantly, that text me constantly. Tell them Off the Bench sent you. Go to Donaldsonville Glass and Body, DonaldsonvilleGlassandBody.com.
We opened up the playbook and expanded our coverage. Listen daily in high definition on 98.1 HD2. We are 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
$29,990 for a new 2021 Ford F-150. Bayou Ford wants to put you in a brand new 2021 Ford F-150 for just $29,990. And new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Have you been arrested for DUI or other traffic violations? Have you made a mistake? We all have. You're not a bad person. Call the law offices of O.C. Brown at 225-343-1111 or connect with us online at ocbrown.com.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her Auctioner primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an Auctioner care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioner Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Starting in 1974, Central Plumbing has served Baton Rouge and surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Through these tough and trying times, we want you to remember that the Payne family is here to continue to support and serve you. As a multi-generational business, there is no job that is too big or too small. Residential, commercial, industrial, hospitality, we're here for anything you need. 24/7, 365. Give us a call, 225-925-8552.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the...
Hey, it's Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for Monday's AFR presented by Relief Windows. We'll recap LSU's weekend in College Station, and we'll start to preview the SEC baseball tournament. Join us 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
Yo, what up, y'all? Welcome back to OTB. T-Bob, Mario, and Danny hanging out with you today. We're going to have on Steve Worthy, who is the head of the Zurich Classic, as well as the 4Kids Foundation. Talk to him about a little PGA Championship. It's Phil Mickelson, the 50-year-old. Getting it done. The lefty winning this weekend, one of golf's favorite. It was a great time. During the break, we've also been workshopping some things. There's an excellent new superfan idea. If you are a Saints superfan, or if you want to be one, look, a lot of bases are covered, right? You got your Master Chief, you got your Saints Darth Maul, you got the Whistle Monster, like the list goes on, the Joker guy. How about a giant crab suit with, as Mario added to it, W's on the claws, right? I mean, it makes too much sense, okay? I need to see somebody in a crab suit in the Superdome this fall. All right, right now, let's go to the phone lines. You got Steve Worthy, head of Zurich, here on Off the Bench, also for Kids Foundation. Steve, what's going on, man? Thank you for waking up with us on this Monday.
Yeah, absolutely. Happy to be here.
Okay, so why I'm bringing you on is because I am not the biggest golf guy. I'm starting to flirt with it a little bit, right? I'm kind of dipping my toes in those water, which I know that some would say is quite dangerous and can lead to falling fully, deeply in. But I've always kind of been a secondhand supporter, right? And so what happened this weekend with Mickelson, it's one of those things where even for the average person like me, it starts to draw you in because the narratives, 50 years old, all these other things, and just the name that Mickelson is. But to the golf guys, the people that love this sport, what did Phil Mickelson winning on Sunday, what do you think it meant to the game of golf and to you even?
Well, I mean, I think from a crowd support standpoint, Phil has always been one of the most popular players on the PGA Tour. So, to see him win, to do something historic, be the oldest major winner ever, I think it was a lot of fun to watch. There was a lot of drama. That golf course, hole to hole, can jump up and bite you, so that's always scary. And Phil has obviously had a couple of times where things have gotten away from him, and he's let U.S. Open slip away. So it was fun to watch him close it out, and I think it says a lot about Phil, the Tom Brady's of the world, guys who are extending their careers into, later into their career than older than normal.
Yeah, and it's kind of insane. Now, the previous oldest major winner was from all the way back in 1968, also won the PGA Championship. Is this something that, now I'm a bit of two minds, right? On one hand, as you said, there are multiple athletes out there right now really testing the limits of how far you can push this thing from a time perspective. So you're thinking, okay, the science is advancing. Maybe you'll start seeing this more. But then again, you also have newer, younger, better players who are also developing early and doing cutting edge type of things. Like, will this be, do you think, if you had to try to guess today, is this something like a record that lasts another 50 years like the last one did? Or does this, do you start to see this a bit more?
If I had to bet, I think this will last a while. You've got guys coming out of college. You've got 6, 8, 10 young guns right now who are winning regularly at 23, 24, 25. So the competition is getting greater. The field of people you've got to beat each week is getting deeper. So, while I think you might see guys continue to compete at a high level later in their careers, I would guess this one will probably hold up for 20-plus years. Who knows?
And some were saying that when you look at some of the conversation taking place, that given the context, right, the fact that Phil was 250 to 1, and you do have all these young competitors. I mean, he's going toe-to-toe with Koepka, who obviously already has 4 majors to his name. Even an injured Koepka is still very strong. Some saying that this was the greatest major win in golf history. Do you buy into that? Where does this land in kind of your personal rankings of the best majors of all time?
Well, I'm not sure I would rank it that high. I'm sure it would be for Phil. There have been some pretty special majors. I saw some comparisons to the Nicklaus win in 1986 at age 46, the Tiger comeback win at the Masters in 2019, and then Phil at 50. I saw some polls online ranking the 3 of those. I think it's certainly something that people will remember for a long time, because of his age. I think people will remember it because of that massive humanity at the end, having to fight your way through those people to get to the 18th green to putt out. It was special. I'm not sure I see it as, the best major of all time, but it's certainly something that'll be memorable for a good while.
Yeah, and speaking of context, right, like given where golf has been in all sports and the lack of crowds, seeing that this weekend was it was awesome. It's kind of been a theme of today's show. You never quite know what you had until it was gone, and the crowds were sorely missed. Steve, what do you got going on? Obviously, you just wrap up Zurich Classic a few weeks ago. It seemed like the event went great. what's going on with the Zurich, the Four Kids Foundation. Let our listeners know.
Yeah, I mean, we had a very successful event, and crowds, we were limited to 10,000, but we were right at 10,000 for the weekend, and had people out and about, really moving around the golf course. We had a great event, great field, a playoff, so we had some drama coming down the stretch. It was really fun to watch. We'll be making some charity announcements, and all of our proceeds go to charity, so we'll be still closing out our bills and start to make some announcements on how much we're giving to children's charities this year. Really, already kind of planning for next year, taking what we learned, kind of the hybrid model this year, how we can apply it for next year, and just continue to make things better.
Steve, thank you so much for joining us this morning, man, giving us some perspective on Mickelson's big win, the PGA Championship this weekend. You have an excellent day, man.
You too. Thanks, T-Dog.
All right, Steve Worthy, head of the Zurich and the Four Kids Foundation. Zurich Classic, always a very fun event. Missed it in 2020, back in 2021. Seems like it went very well, as did this weekend for all you golf pros out there. I know everybody was very excited to see Lefty come back. All right, when we get back, closing out hour number 2 with a few things. Mario making some very good points on Breeze's first year, maybe in relation to Jameis Winston. We got a Breeze soundbite on Jameis Winston, and there's a crawfish video that was making the rounds this weekend, terribly upsetting people. And we'll break it down next here on OTB.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
I seem to have misplaced my sheet once again. Here it is. I go to AdvantaClean, AdvantaClean.com today. AdvantaClean.com. 369-5228 is the number. 225-369-5228. If you have water damage, mold damage, fire damage, you want to call AdvantaClean. You want to call them first, right? Because they're open 24/7. And they will not only fix the problem, but they will document it, and they will deal with the insurance company for you. If you call the insurance company first, they're going to funnel you to a company they have a relationship with. So, whose best interest are really being looked out for at that point? You go to AdvantaClean first, they're going to take care of it all for you. But how about before disaster strikes, right? We all know the cost of having to shut down now thanks to the pandemic. Let AdvantaClean put a response plan in place for your place of business for free. They put this plan in. They come out, they put a plan in, allows you, if disaster strikes, to get back to work immediately. Go to AdvantaClean.com today.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
A certified pre-owned vehicle means that it's been certified by factory-trained technicians. It meets a stringent criteria of over 155-point inspection. We want to make sure that vehicle is mechanically sound and that we have a warranty to back it up. There's no mileage limitation. You can be assured that you're driving a vehicle, you got a good value, you'll get that special financing, those special incentives on certain models, and some of the other amenities that you get with the certified pre-owned vehicle.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust poll of the day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, Hanging with Hanny. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the poll of the day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana Products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme da me.
Join us for a Monday's edition of Jimmy Ott's Game Time, presented by Bed Rivers, live from Rouge Creole from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. We recap all the action from this past weekend and preview the rest of the week. We got action. It's Game Time. 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Hey, it's Musso hanging out here at Patient Plus Urgent Care, their newest location. It's their 7th convenient location in the Baton Rouge area. Grand opening today, Monday, May the 24th. 9 a.m. they will open up, 9 p.m. they will close. That's going to be 7 days a week. Located 8540 Segan Lane next to Ambrosia Bakery and Benny's Car Wash. Same great service, same great care. Sniffles, sore throat, a scratch, maybe a broken bone, stitches. No need to go to an emergency room. Just come into Patient Plus Urgent Care. Get in and get better. At the St. George location, they've got you covered. Again, 7th location next to Ambrosia and Benny's Car Wash, 8540 Segan Lane, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., 7 days a week. Get in, get better. They'll take great care of you here at Patient Plus Urgent Care. We're going to be hanging out until 10:30 a.m. Stop in and check out the new location.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
Wow, kind of crazy rumors here. Who put me on this? Survive, again, on fire this morning. So that I see the rumors yesterday that Disney is rumored to be buying the DC Comics rights from Warner Brothers. I guess Warner Brothers is merging with Discovery. They're selling off a lot. This came up in a video game podcast that I listened to as well. I'll have to do a deeper dive in just the last 30 seconds into this. But kind of crazy. Like, there are rumors out there. Okay, have you all played the Injustice fighting game? Yeah, right? Okay, that's a DC Comics fighting game. Of course, that's from NetherRealm, who also made DC vs. Mortal Kombat. They also make the Mortal Kombat games, which have been very good recently. There was a very early on rumor, and I would not put any stock in this. I would not. But there is an inkling of a rumor that their next game could be DC versus Marvel, which from a licensing standpoint would seem insane and impossible, but maybe this opens up the door a bit, as I believe DC, who owns NetherRealm, Warner, who owns NetherRealm, may be selling them right now. It remains to be seen, but my God, dude, if Disney gets the DC Comics license, like, first off, what is Warner going to have on HBO Max losing all of that? Because that seems like where a ton of their content comes from, but even more so, like, what does Disney not have? They're getting close to just owning the world, or at least kind of owning your childhood a bit. That's insane. We'll continue to cover the story as it develops over time. Danny, get this video that I have in the 845 ready to roll. We'll come back to it, so I'll give you a few minutes here. Mario, you had a really good point on Drew Brees earlier, right? Because I was mentioning Jameis Winston here, year one. Could he somehow manage to rally this team and even beat Tom Brady and his old team twice, maybe win the NFC South? And all of that feels painfully unrealistic on the heels of what Drew Brees has done for the past decade and a half. But to your point, maybe I've lost a little bit of perspective of what it was like when Drew Brees originally got here.
Yeah, that's right. Imagine me telling you back in 2006 that Drew Brees in his first season is going to take this 3-13 franchise, take them to the NFC title game in his first year and break a lot of offensive records in the process. I mean, obviously a little bit different, right? Drew Brees had a little bit of success in San Diego as a starter, maybe a little bit more than Jameis Winston did in Tampa Bay. But at the end of the day, T-Bob, their original teams did not want them. They have new life under Sean Payton. Drew Brees very much took advantage of that. We'll see if Jameis can.
There's a lot of parallels. There. Brees was sitting down, and it's a fascinating point because a lot of times when you use whatever, I mean, there's nothing profound about this. There's a reason why the saying hindsight is 20/20 exists, right? After something is done, you felt like it was inevitable. It was always going to happen that way. Drew Brees was always going to come to the Saints. He was going to lead them to promised land. They were going to win a Super Bowl, and he was going to be great for 15 years. But as Mario said, at the time of signing, nothing could have been further from the truth. 3-13, new, young head coach. Will he flop? Will he succeed? Remember, this is a Sean Payton that had his play calling duties stripped from him, I believe during a Giant Super Bowl run, even back today, the Kerry Collins, Jim Fossil Giants. So, yeah, there were even questions like, would Sean Payton work out? Drew Brees coming off an injury, if famously, if Saban doesn't take Culpepper. So there was a lot working against the Saints at the time. In fact, that was a far more uncertain setting than this year's team. Like, you still have an excellent offensive line. You still have one really good corner. You still have what I think is a pretty good D-line. You still have an all-pro linebacker in Demario Davis. Like, you still got a lot of very strong pieces. So you're working with more. You still got Alvin Kamara, Mike Thomas. You're working with a lot more than you were back in 2006. So maybe that Jameis jump, not as unrealistic as I originally thought. The problem is it maybe isn't about the Saints as much as it is about the Buccaneers just being beyond you. Because I'm trying to think back in 2006. I don't think the NFC South as a whole was very good, right? I mean, we'd have to think back to who the good team at the time was then. I'm not sure off the top of my head.
Atlanta was coming off of Michael Vick.
Yeah.
So they were down.
What did they have, like Matt Schaub at the time, maybe, or somebody like that?
That was the season Chris Sims broke his spleen or suffered whatever terrible injury he did. He was starting for Tampa Bay. And then Carolina still had Jake Delhomme.
So that's why Sims' takes are always so terrible when it comes to the Saints.
That's why. Yep.
He's got a little NFC South leftover anger.
Mm-hmm.
Was that the Jake Delhomme time in Carolina, or was that right after?
I think so, right? 2006, he was still there.
Okay, but either way, there was no like Brady and the Bucs defending champs in the division. But here's to hoping that Jameis and them get it done. And look, as far as Jameis goes, I love how his offseason is done. We can't play it, right? We can.
We got it.
We got it? Okay. Here is Drew Brees, who's on USA Today Sports. Here's him being asked about Jameis Winston.
Focusing on Winston here, from your time with him, what traits does he have that you think can make him a successful starting QB in the league?
The guy loves football. He works his tail off. He's got all the tools, physical tools. He can make every throw on the field. Mentally, he's sharp. He picks things up quickly. He studies it. He works at it. And he's hungry. He's hungry to be a great player.
So it's easy to dismiss a lot of that as just kind of coach talk. And I don't think I see why you would. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that all of that was completely genuine. But I do think there are some clues that maybe would say it is. We might have to push that Crawfish video to the next hour. We'll see. But there are some clues that maybe point to genuinely it being true. I mean, look, I cannot get away from Drew Brees telling Jameis Winston this is your team now at the end of that last playoff game. Because to me, that is probably the attitude of the locker room, right? Like that's what that interaction is representative of. Is that the locker room believes that Jameis is really that next guy up and that he must have ingrained himself with that locker room as a leader for Brees to frame it like that. I think the other portion of that clip to highlight is when he talks about Winston being hungry, because this is something that Winston has talked about constantly this offseason. We played a clip a few weeks ago of Winston at a kids camp where he's talking about outworking everybody, right? That he's in there every single day this summer trying to get it right. And Dak Prescott was staying right there, and he was like, I mean, no, Dak's right here, but he ain't outworking me. So he's on that grind. I love the Winston quotes, and I've always loved what Jameis has to say, but I love when he talked about, Brees teaching him that, look, it's not about the result. Did we make the right decision? Sometimes you can make the right decision, and something goes awry, something out of your hands. Maybe a receiver, instead of catching the ball, tips it up, it gets picked. That's a bad result, but you made the right decision. So what Breeze has helped adjust his framework is don't be married to the result, be married to the decision, and the results will follow. Now, obviously, the thing that I would worry most about Winston is he's coming off of that 30-pick year, so I think he is going to want to desperately prove that he can take care of the ball. And so the tightrope act that Sean Payton and company is going to have to figure out this year is how can we promote Winston, put him in a position to succeed, and take advantage of that immense physical talent that he has without completely neutering him, right? Like you can't, you don't want, I don't want Winston to be so conservative that it just becomes a constant. Quite frankly, I don't want Winston to do what Teddy Bridgewater did. And Teddy was great in the context of the years when you needed him, but there's a reason why it didn't work out in Carolina. And it's because it's just not quite dynamic enough. Not enough risk is incurred when Bridgewater's playing quarterback. I hope that Winston can navigate that risk a bit better than Bridgewater did. All right, coming up next, we're going to talk to Mark Kinderman, executive producer and director of Hold the Rope, documentary that premieres tonight. Keep it locked right here on Off the Bench.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Go to Ochsner.org today, Ochsner.org for all of your healthcare needs. Look, check it out. You need urgent care, right? They got them peppered to other cities. You're on the North Shore. You're in Baton Rouge. You're in New Orleans. You got some nagging injuries like a shoulder, a knee, an ankle, a hip, whatever the case may be. There's an Ochsner for you. The locations at all three, I've toured them all, North Shore, New Orleans, and Baton Rouge. The facilities are unbelievable, as are the personnel, right? Like, when you invest in your facilities, you invest in your personnel, you reap the benefits. We reap the benefits because there's no place that you can go to get these nagging issues checked out that's going to better set you on the path to getting your health back, to feeling successful once again, than will Ochsner. Okay, so if you want to maximize your quality of life, right, don't just accept that you got to be limping around day to day. Let Ochsner check you out and provide you the pathway to get better. Maybe it's surgery, maybe it's not, but the point is Ochsner has the answer. Go to Ochsner.org today.
$29,990 for a new 2021 Ford F-150. Bayou Ford wants to put you in a brand new 2021 Ford F-150 for just $29,990. And new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Yo, Jacob Hester here for Patient Plus Urgent Care Center, the place that can be at your convenience during those inconvenient times. I know they've been that for me. I've got 4 boys, right? So sometimes stitches happen, and they have 6 convenient locations, one close to you to be able to be convenient for you. Remember, you can also check in online. PatientPlusUC.com is the website. That way you skip the line as well. Patient Plus Urgent Care Center. Get in and get better.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Can you feel it? Spring is almost here, and if you got a new boat for Christmas or you just want to take your boat to a new level, you want front-to-back boat service, HD displays, live sonar that show the fish before you cast, trolling motors. At Front to Back, they got not 1, but 2 NMEA certified techs for all of your marine electronic needs. How does a brand new speaker system sound? Well, guess what? They do that too. So call 225-928-9644 or go to Front to Back Boat Service.
50 years ago on Easter Sunday, Breck's Baton Rouge Zoo proudly opened our doors, and we've been hopping ever since. 5 decades of connecting people with animals, teaching our community about the problems facing wildlife and how we can help, and working with zoos across the world to protect endangered species. Today, our future is taking flight by stretching the possibilities of what your zoo can become, while we keep it fun and affordable for everyone. Thanks for coming along.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
Sports wouldn't be the same without the die-hard fans. That's why we're highlighting the fans that do the most. 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge brings you the Citizens Bank Fan of the Week. Check it out at 1045ESPN.com, the Citizens Bank Fan of the Week.
Good morning. It's 9 a.m. on Monday, May 24th. Today in Baton Rouge, expect to see cloudy skies and a high of 84. Coming up on OTBOT, Andrew Lopez of ESPN joins the show at 9:30. You can follow today's show on Twitter or Instagram at OTB_ESPN or by subscribing to our YouTube for new content every day. You can also check us out on Cox Sports Television. OTBOT starts now.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jacob Hester and T-Bob Hebert.
Yeah.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Hey, P, they said I got to come off the bench.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. Yo.
There we go. You're getting a little cocky there, DJ Mario, trying to mix songs live on air. Welcome back to OTB. Go ahead and call Mark up. Let's get him on the line as we are going to talk a little Hold the Rope coming out tonight. Cannot wait. A lot of people talking about how excited they are for UGA tomorrow. I agree. I also agree. Dark Helmet was talking about it. Who was the original? Oh, Vincent Sabiza. Shout out to the boys. Emil McClellan saying 4:30 first pitch is an excellent time. I agree with that as well. Nice little afternoon baseball. Great excuse to kind of knock off all responsibility kind of early. Have a couple beers. Celebrate LSU baseball. What better way to set you up for LSU postseason play than watching Hold the Rope tonight at 6 p.m.? As I said, a homework assignment for us here in the room, as all three of us are not really, we don't know much about 90s LSU baseball, to be quite frank. I know the accomplishments. I don't know what it was like experiencing that. I don't know some of the stories behind the scenes that brought about 5 national championships in 10 years. And right now, let's welcome in Mark Kinderman, who his resume is just absolutely fantastic, from starting out cutting highlights for SportsCenter to now making multiple movies and documentaries and shorts all throughout the country with sports. Mark, what's going on, man? Thank you so much for waking up with us this morning.
Morning. It's been a good run for me. Even if I didn't do another one, if I stopped today, I don't think I could complain.
So, and Mark, what we're so excited about here is the three of us. I'm 32. Our producers, Mara and Danny, are a little younger than me. But like all of us have no real great grasp of what it was actually like to cheer for LSU baseball during the 90s, right? It was just harder to watch games out of state, et cetera, whatever the reason may be. So I'm really interested to see that firsthand. How much did you know about that stretch of LSU before you decided to do this project?
I knew the College World Series success. When you work at ESPN and the College World Series is always, on in the background when, we're hitting that time of year. The main characters, the Frasers, the Berkmans, Augie, so on down the line. But beyond maybe the grand illusion, I knew the trick play from Miami and all the success, and Warren Morris, and Cressy, and the big moments. But I can't say I knew much more than that before I started in on it in 2018.
And so that's where we kind of are heading into this documentary tonight. First off, I know that last night seemed like a huge success, the debut party at LeBear's. Congratulations on that. So how did this originally get on your radar? Like, how do you decide to do a project like this? And then where do you start? A documentary filmmaking to me seems incredibly overwhelming in that regard.
I had just come off of doing No Kin to Me, the Rudy Macklin.
Yep.
It started out 30 for 30 short, and then we ended up lengthening it to an SEC storied half hour. And the summer 2018, they saw what I was doing with that, and they said, we have another LSU project for you. I think Herb Vincent really in the SEC office, and obviously the background here, kind of championed it, and it kind of came to me from that way that, there's something we want to do for Skip. We're not 100% sure of how to tell this story. And, if you can tell it in an hour, let's try to do that. And how you encompass this life in an hour is anyone's guess, and is really still anyone's guess, even after I did it. So that's really where it started. And I talked to Skip a little bit, in the summer of 2018, and by the fall, we started rolling.
And here we are, the debut tonight, 6 p.m. On the SEC Network, SEC Storied, Hold the Rope. Cannot wait to watch it. What was kind of your favorite? Is there a story or an interview or a moment that kind of blew you away while really stuck with you while making this movie?
There were a few people who were really emotional. Louis Garcia, of course, Paul Bird, I thought really set some tones. Michael Papajohn, but there are little moments in almost all the interviews. You see that there's somebody like John O'Donohue who wasn't, who's known here, but isn't and spent time in the major leagues. But I don't know if you call him, Ben McDonald famous. When I handed him Skip Bertman's manual, the book they all go by, the Yellow Book, it was broke down, and it's stuff like that kind of sticks with me.
So what did you learn about Bertman as a coach? And obviously, whatever, like that's such a broad question, right? But like in terms of, because the interesting thing about a legacy like Bertman's is the shadow that it casts is incredibly long, right? And even with this LSU baseball fans still think each and every year they should be in the College World Series, regardless if that's true or not, the competition's approved, et cetera, et cetera. But like even this year, where you're getting ready for the SEC tournament tomorrow, it's been a bit of a down year. This is going to call into focus kind of the glories of the past. What do you think made Skip unique in how he was able to affect that all-time good success on the field?
I think it's a couple things. He always seemed to be a couple steps ahead of the game in his mind. He was able to see those moves, probably better than your average or even better than average coach. And the way he motivated, the stories he told, and the same stories are kind of passed down from, the 84 guys, 83, 84, all the way into 2001. Those motivational stories, those touchstones, seem to resonate with his team.
And so when you're talking about Hold the Rope, how was that employed? Like what you talk about motivation, I'm sure that was key. What is the theme of Hold the Rope? What did you find that it meant to these players and to these coaches, and what was the idea behind it?
It's the idea, that you do anything you have to win, to advance. Skip says everything counts. That's another, big thing for him. But the ability to be with your teammates, that, anyone can hold that rope and make the play, make the moment. And it really kind of, each individual team, each individual season would have those kind of hold the rope moments.
Yeah, I mean, and again, even in the context of this season, like this weekend, you saw that with the bullpen stepping up out of nowhere. Mikael Hilliard, the senior, continue to get done. Mark, how does it feel to kind of be like a little bit of like an adopted LSU guy now, right? Between the Rudy Macklin story, now Hold the Rope. Like you spent a lot of times researching here in Baton Rouge.
This isn't even my first 20 years ago. I did the Pete Maravich Sports Century.
Wow.
When Sports Century, after 50 Greatest, we did that countdown in 99, and then Sports Century went to an hour in 01, and we did, I did Larry Brown, I did Charles Barkley, and so, but I did Pete. And, I found Ronnie, by chance in New Orleans, and, getting to know those stories then. So I was, it's not like I didn't have a familiarity with Baton Rouge, but it's great to keep coming down here and tell these stories. I know how much it means to the people here, and I hope that comes out in the film.
Yeah, and I think, Mark, it's just quite frankly, I mean, from our perspective, I think there's a lot of people around my age, maybe even younger, obviously, who are in the same boat, who you've always heard the legends of Skip, right? But there's never been that kind of one great resource where you can kind of relive it. So I cannot wait for tonight. I would also like to formally extend apologies for the Cajun Cannon and the Michigan Panthers beating the Philadelphia Stars in the 1983 USFL Championship. The boys did what had to be done. I'm sorry to break your Stars' heart like that, Mark.
You know, for a team that had been around for a good 5 minutes in 1983, you know, it was an exciting time, you know, in Philadelphia for that team to see Cecina and you know, Kelvin Bryant and those guys. But, you know, I never thought I'd see a Super Bowl title come down the Ben Franklin Parkway.
Yep.
I never thought I'd see that trophy come down. And I'm going to be 50 in September. I can't think of anything 50-year-olds have done this weekend that made news. So, you know, it's good to see that. But, you know, as I said to Ronnie yesterday, and those guys, look, if the Sixers hadn't won Game 1, I was going to be a better person coming into that event last night. So.
Hey, so what about so 60? Okay, so now I just have to ask an Eagles question since we've arrived here. How do you feel about Sirianni?
I'm not there with Hurts yet, guys. I'm not.
How do you feel about Sirianni? How do you feel about the head guy?
You know, I'm okay when Andrew McCutchen plays rock, paper, scissors, rounding third base when he hits a home run. That's cool. I don't know about rock, paper, scissors in making personnel decisions.
It's a bad story, dude. It's a bad headline, at least, right?
You know, look, he's a new coach. If he wins, he's going to be fine. If he doesn't, well, Philadelphia, they got ways to deal with that. So.
Yes, as we have seen time and time again. Mark Kinderman, thank you so much, man. Director, executive producer of Hold the Rope, coming down tonight on the SC Network, 6 p.m. We can't wait. We've got a homework assignment in for the team. We'll be all reviewing it tomorrow. Mark, thank you so much, man, and thank you for making this.
No problem. My pleasure. And like I said, I hope everybody gets out of it what I did and sees the love for Skip that everybody has.
There you go. The legend, Skip. Here we go. I almost said Skip Bayless. Skip Bertman. Oh, wow. Jeez.
Also a legend.
So, I mean, also a legend, though. That is true. That is true, Mara. Shout out to Mark Kinderman. Thank you so much. All right. When we get back, we'll address the crawfish drama from over the weekend. Also got an Arch Manning story in NOLA.com I want to talk about a bit. Keep it locked right here on Off the Bench.
OTB. OT.
Go to AccutempBR.com today, AccutempBR.com. Folks, we are now a week away from Memorial Day. So, again, we want to push the Tiger tune-up. Okay, this is a $49 tune-up to your AC to make sure that you are good to go for the rest of summer, okay? Because it's getting really hot, and day by day, it's going to get hotter and hotter. That AC unit's going to be cranking, right? And you want to avoid any catastrophic mistakes. That's what the tune-up does. And make sure that you're good to go and you're not going to have any major problems down the road, at least as much as that can be controlled. So what you want to do is you want to text the word home run to 31996. Home run to 31996. Take advantage of this deal. You have 1 week left. Okay, this is over at Memorial Day. Text home run to 31996. Get a $49 Tiger tune-up and figure out why myself and so many others, including a ton of people on Google, love Accutemp and review them so highly. They're the best to work with. Go to AccutempBR.com today.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the JimsFirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the JimsFirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her Auctioner primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an Auctioner care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioner Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Starting in 1974, Central Plumbing has served Baton Rouge and surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Through these tough and trying times, we want you to remember that the Payne family is here to continue to support and serve you. As a multi-generational business, there is no job that is too big or too small. Residential, commercial, industrial, hospitality, we're here for anything you need. 24/7, 365. Give us a call, 225-925-8552.
A certified pre-owned vehicle means that it's been certified by factory-trained technicians. It meets a stringent criteria of over 155-point inspection. We want to make sure that vehicle is mechanically sound and that we have a warranty to back it up. There's no mileage limitation. You can be assured that you're driving a vehicle, you got a good value, you'll get that special financing, those special incentives on certain models, and some of the other amenities that you get with a certified pre-owned vehicle.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for Monday's AFR presented by Relief Windows. We'll recap LSU's weekend in College Station, and we'll start to preview the SEC baseball tournament. Join us 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
Welcome back, y'all. OTB Monday morning. Hope you're having a great Monday morning. Shout out to Mark Kinderman coming on. The Philly boy, now almost an adopted son of Louisiana. Can't wait for Hold the Rope later tonight. I want to talk a little Arch Manning here, as we're not going to dive right into it. First, we're going to do the crawfish video, but Arch Manning, his recruiting about to begin in earnest, right? He's going to be a rising junior at Newman. Up to this point, everything's really been over the phone. Visits are about to start happening. Where does LSU stand? We'll touch on it very quickly. But first, this is the video that was making the rounds this weekend, and I never fail to be amazed at how out of sync I can be with people at times, right? Like on the referee conversation we keep revisiting, right? Like nobody agrees with me, but I just view it as like being objectively correct. What my opinion is, which I guess is kind of how everybody's opinions work, I suppose. But whatever. The point is, sometimes you feel like you're going against the grain. Well, this weekend, this video cropped up, and let's play the video, and then we'll talk about it. It's a crawfish boil. And if you're listening, they are pouring the crawfish into the cooler. It just came out the pot. And they are pouring an entire Dixie cup of seasoning on top. So a literal dusting there. They also pour an entire bottle of mustard on top and an entire bottle of hot sauce on top of the crawfish, and they mix it up with their hands. This was done with great fanfare in the video. Much hoopla and cheering. I'll start with you two, the Louisiana natives. What are your thoughts on this crawfish video?
The guy with the mustard should be in prison.
You think?
Yes.
Okay. Like prison?
Yes.
Actual prison time? Angola or like a low security one?
I said what I said. What you think, Danny?
Yeah, it's an abomination. It's very disturbing to look at.
Okay. So this is what I'm talking about. Because that's been the reaction. Is like, this is the worst thing I've ever seen. These people need to be jailed immediately. They're definitely not from Louisiana, which I don't know if they are or not. I would actually love to know if anybody knows. What is actually the problem that much, though?
The mustard. That's the only thing. It just looks so...
You don't think it would taste good mixed in?
No. It looks unholy. It looks improper. It looks every bad adjective you can describe. That's my big gripe. That's my big gripe with it. Is just the mustard.
The person with the mustard bottle has a UL shirt.
Okay, so Louisiana native is definitely in play then. And I believe Lafayette's known for dusting their crawfish. Is that right or not?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
I remember at an LSU alumni golf tournament a couple years ago, I think the guys came over from Lafayette. I'm not sure, but they definitely dusted them crawfish. And granted, I was quite inebriated by the end of that 18, but I thought it was delicious. I probably wasn't the best judge, but I ate like 7 or 8 pounds of it. You're telling me you don't think that tastes good?
No.
In that bucket right there.
Maybe 12 beers deep, yeah, but no.
So you would pick one of those up after they mix it, and you'd pick one up and be like, no.
Yeah.
No.
What? I'm sorry.
Yeah,
what?
No, I wouldn't either. Yeah.
I think most people would.
See, that's the thing, though. It's interesting how people are very precious about their crawfish, right, and how they make it. Like, they do not want you to mess with anything. But, okay, Danny, you love Chow Yum Fat. You've been going there constantly. Have you had the Viet Cajun crawfish?
No, I haven't yet.
Okay, that is a completely different style of crawfish. We're talking about a lot more garlic. We're talking about using lemongrass. We're talking about combining 2 different cultures. To some people, that would be very upsetting. How could you do this? I hate it. But you know what? It's delicious. It's great. Okay? And so all I'm saying is, in my opinion, I think there's a little room to allow these different styles. I would try that. I'm not so turned off by the visuals on that. I will say, like, I hope that they I hope that they boiled it with seasoning as well. Like, I hope that's not the only seasoning that you're dealing with is on the outside. I'm hoping that's just like a little a topper offer, if you will. But no, I would absolutely try that, dude. I think it would be pretty good. I feel like the mustard kind of makes sense.
I'm with what you said. I'm about trying new stuff. Whenever we were talking about controversial opinions last week, I maybe should have brought up that I eat I eat eggs. I eat ketchup on my scrambled eggs.
Hell yeah, dude.
I eat ketchup on my scrambled eggs.
That's pretty normal. I've seen that.
Ketchup on scrambled eggs is pretty good. It's relatively, I would say that it might be like a 50-50 sort of deal. You think it's lower?
Yeah, people do a double take whenever I say that, similar to how I'm doing with this. But this is much worse. That's my point.
There we go, dude.
This is much worse.
Citizens Bank and Trust poll question of the day: do you eat ketchup with your eggs? Let's do it. Let's get a firm. And I'm serious, Mark. Put that up. I want to get a firm idea of where the look. Fire Scona said T-Bob spent too much time in Atlanta. Boy, don't know any better. Look, I'm not going to argue. Hey, outsider perspective. Okay, maybe I did. Maybe it's true. All I'm saying is I've had a lot of good crawfish made in a few different ways. And so I'm not like as just instantly turned off to this video as a lot of people where they were acting like it was a crime. Avo Marzwani never going to a crawfish boil T-Bob is hosting. Hey, what are you supposed to do?
If Hester was here, he would make a Georgia comment, I feel like, but it's not coming to me. So
yes, it would be Georgia into small hands into I can't believe you believe that about the referees. Danny, what were you about to say before I cut you off? Do you remember?
Oh, I was just saying hot take. Ketchup is gross. I don't eat ketchup.
Now that is a hot take.
I know.
Especially and the reason why ketchup's good though, it's just because it's sweet. It's a sugar, right? I mean, it's awesome. American ketchup is so sugary and delicious. It's way different than European ketchup, where it's like more like a tomato paste, and still very good, but not quite in the same ways. And that's why ketchup's good on most things, is just because it's sweet. But you know what else some people get mad about? Like ketchup on a hot dog. I love ketchup on a hot dog. And some people say that that's some will tell you in certain parts of the country that is an abomination, that only mustard belongs on hot dogs. You know what I've been eating on everything recently, boys? Man, and I know I shut him out at the time. I wish I could remember who sent it to me. But one of our excellent listeners out of Texas sent me a gigantic bottle of Valentina. A couple weeks ago, and I've already worked through half of it.
Man.
I mean, I put it on everything.
It's really good.
I'm not going to lie. There are 5 to 10 times where I've walked by that bottle, popped the top open, and just poured a little in my mouth. And for that reason, maybe I don't view it like a traditional hot sauce, because it does pack so much flavor that you're talking about changing whatever you're eating pretty significantly. It's not like Tabasco to me is a perfect mixture of and really, I guess Crystal in Louisiana I put in this category as well, of kind of accenting the taste, working within the taste to help. Valentina is more almost completely changing the dynamics. But I mean, bro, pizza, in my gumbo, like anything. It has just been really, really damn good on. A great flavor. I see why people were fighting. I see why people were fighting for Valentina in the hot sauce tier list. Mark Oster, T-Bob's so clueless about 90% of life. Come at me about video game movies, Mark. You bum. Bet you I know more about that than you do. Huh? Okay. Ask me about Middle Earth, Mark. Or Star Wars trivia. Okay, I got a lot of smart things. Nicky says T-Bob has less surface area on his hands, so he has a smaller problem with the dust. Here's a hot take. I love getting my fingers dusty. I love eating the Cheetos cheese dust off of my fingers. I like the Doritos dust. I like most cheese dust, so I'll just stop naming brands. When I have ate dusted crawfish, yeah, guess what? I actually like licking the Tonys or whatever it is off my fingers. It tastes good, okay? And you're already getting dirty with crawfish, so what's the point of adding a little dust to the mix? Are your hands clean when you eat undusted crawfish, Danny? I see you shaking your head. Are your hands clean?
Not if you wear plastic gloves. I'm joking.
If you wear plastic gloves, you are a coward.
I'm joking.
You are a coward and
I've seen people
pretty
do that,
boy. That is unbelievable. I will say this, though. Make sure you wash your hands, Danny. Because if you and Rhonda go hang out immediately after a crawfish boil, I do know from experience, it can get really bad really quickly for all parties involved with those spicy fingers.
I always felt really bad. I always felt really bad for people with contacts that eat crawfish. I feel like that's a long process.
Yeah, how are you supposed to fix your contact if it starts to go right, dude? You just have to stick that finger in your eye and immediately it starts burning and welling.
Yeesh.
Liquid crawfish boil in my eggs. Kids were not. Crawfish and eggs is quite good. Tony's and ketchups on eggs for me, for sure. Even in grits, too. Yeah, that sounds great on both. I got a sausage egg and we went to Waffle House with the family the other day, which I hadn't done in a long time. Very good. I don't know. It's weird, right? I love Waffle House. I don't think it's very good, but I still love it. There's something about it. I don't know. It's like the diner atmosphere. Maybe it's just very nostalgic for me growing up, going there constantly. We do need to make a shirt. I like most cheese dust. That's a really good idea, actually. But I got a sausage, egg, and cheese bowl. And what I do, I put hot sauce and ketchup all over the top. You get a little sweet, a little heat. It makes a lot of sense. The savoriness comes from the salt and the sausage and everything else. Yeah, it's perfect. Eric Goulet, I don't know how you pronounce it, says, only times I've used gloves was for having to deal with my newborn. So, boom. Okay. If we're going to make exceptions, yes, maybe handling a baby, but even then, I'm just maybe wash your hands. One of the most psycho moves I've ever seen was, this is not my kid. Somebody had a newborn in a crawfish boil, and some girl was drunk, and she had just gotten done eating, and she grabbed this baby and stuck her fingers in the baby's mouth. What? Like, what? That's a psycho move at any time. That's a psycho move if you have the cleanest hands that, like, if you just sterilized your hands in as sterile as it could possibly be, and you didn't even have any alcohol, like nothing that could taste bad, you cannot put your fingers in somebody else's kid's mouth. And she did it with her crawfish fingers. I was aghast. It was a gag. I'd never seen anything like it. I guess, Valentina on popcorn. I don't know about that, B-Rich. I mean, you're making the popcorn wet. Popcorn wilts when it's wet. It's like, my old man used to slam jalapenos in popcorn, and when the dry bites are good, well, you're getting a lot of jalapeno juice in there, okay? And it kind of melts it down a little bit, so not my favorite. Okay, mullet, but with a G, says Eric. There we go, Eric Gullet. That's a hell of a last name. All right, coming up, we started to talk about Arch Manning there, but, I had to defend my bad opinion, so here we are. Coming up next, let's talk to our guy Andrew Lopez of ESPN.com. Talk a little NBA playoffs. Okay, Champ here with a strong point. If your newborn son can't handle a little seasoning, she's going to be soft. There you go. I mean, I don't know. Maybe just indoctrinate the kid. I mean, Alice was eating crawfish boiled corn at like 1 year old. I remember the Alabama game, took down an entire ear by herself. I was so proud of her. Probably the reason why they won in 2019.
Definitely.
Thomas says T-Bob saw the baby and said me next. That's a strong man. Chill out. All right, when we get back, off the bench, let's talk to Andrew Lopez. Keep it locked right here.
OTB, OT.
All-Star Toyota of Baton Rouge.com. All-Star Toyota of Baton Rouge.com. Look, if you are looking to rent, go to All-Star Toyota. It's cheaper than your rental companies. The selection is awesome. You got a big family. Maybe you want to take a minivan, right? You're scared to take the minivan plunge. Well, dip your toes in the water, okay? Just soak it for a little bit. when you soak with a minivan, I guarantee you're going to have trouble pulling out, okay? You're probably going to want to end up staying in that minivan for life. So head over, check out the Toyota Sienna. I got the 2020. It's unreal, y'all. I love it. Got the Murder Out Mini all black. If you see me on the street, honk, say what's up. I also love the Camry that I'm leasing. Really works for my situation. Let them find the answers for your situation over there at All-Star Toyota. Go to allstartoyota of BatonRouge.com. Again, that's a great site. There's a great resource to start with. Is there the site? Or you can go see them off of Airline. Shout out my guy Richard Jones, who helped me get in my vehicles. Let them find your answer. Go to All-Star Toyota of BatonRouge.com.
We opened up the playbook and expanded our coverage. Listen daily in high definition on 98.1 HD2. We are 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
I'm feeling good. So good. I just thought you should know.
What if you could truly energize your body and mind from the most fundamental level, your cells? Cellivate is a revolutionary health-aware approach to energy, focus, and mood enhancement, packing everything you need to optimize your mind and body from the inside out. The unique formula combines top-notch cellular energizers, nootropics, herbal extracts, and powerful antioxidants, all in one sugar-free 12-ounce can. Elevate your cells. Cellivate.
$29,990 for a new 2021 Ford F-150. Bayou Ford wants to put you in a brand new 2021 Ford F-150 for just $29,990. And new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana Products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Join us for a Monday's edition of Jimmy Ott's Game Time, presented by Bed Rivers, live from Rouge Creole from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. We recap all the action from this past weekend and preview the rest of the week. We got action. It's Game Time. 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
OTB OT with Hester and T-Bob on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 94.7 ESPN Alexandria.
Welcome back to OTB. Talking a little NBA playoffs. I got Andrew Lopez. Pretty shocking news during the break there. So Mario's Guatemalan, Danny's Mexican. Both are bilingual. Mario, why did you take French in high school if you already knew the language?
You're going to get me in trouble, but I just was not a huge fan of the Spanish teacher at the time. And she knew that I spoke Spanish, so she was going to make my life harder anyway. So
I'm about to say, she must have been horrible. If you knew the language and you still avoided it.
Again, at LSU, that's what I did, so it all worked out.
Right now, let's talk to our guy from ESPN, Andrew Lopez. You know him. He covers the Pelicans beat, _Andrew_Lopez on Twitter. Andrew, what's up, bro?
Not much, man. I'm all for exposing New Orleans high schools right now, and Mario getting in trouble with Brother Martin. That is, we can sit here and do this all day.
Wait, so did you take French as well in high school? Did I hear that correctly?
I did take French in high school. I do not speak Spanish. Have never spoke Spanish. But my French teacher thought I spoke Spanish. But the exact same reason that Mario did. Our French teachers were easier. Our Spanish teachers were harder. So I took the easier classes.
Wow, not what I expected coming in today, but major hot seat alert for the Spanish teachers at Brother Martin. Who would have guessed that this is the avenues we would end up going down? Mario's head's in his hands. Let's dive into a little NBA talk. What a fantastic weekend of NBA basketball, Andrew. Let's start with a little Pelicans angle, though, because I don't know about you, it does hurt my heart to see, like, R.J. Barrett out there and John Morant, and then really, like, even the fact, even, like, something like the Suns, or the fact that, like, in the Grizzlies, I think it's the second youngest team to ever make the playoffs, or no, maybe it's, like, second youngest in the NBA, like, fifth youngest to make the playoffs. The point is, I just hate seeing these other franchises shine with their young stars while Zion's having to sit at home and watch these games.
Yeah, the R.J. Barrett, the John Morant, guys who were in his draft class, those probably I could see why they would sting for Pels fans, especially when you go and look at the fact that Ja's out here leading his team not only into the playoffs but through the play-in tournament, and that was what was going to happen. That was what was going to carry the Pels into the playoffs, right? It was going to be where they're going to sneak in through the play-in tournament and maybe be able to do some things. And now you look at being able to get by the Warriors. If you're Memphis, Ja had that amazing game the other night, and then getting through the Utah Jazz last night, and then the Jazz to defeat. I know they didn't have Donovan Mitchell. They didn't have Rudy for the last 5 or 6 minutes. But man, I think all of this is going to set up and make a couple of things happen. One, I think you look at Zion as a guy who's not going to want to see this again. David Griffin has said, it feels like ad nauseum now. He's basically said, we're going to add shooting, we're going to add shooting, we're going to add shooting. And the shooting and toughness is what you need to put yourself in that position. Because when you still look at it, look at all these teams in the West. Remember that the Warriors didn't make it and that Clay's coming back next year. The Spurs are still the Spurs. It's going to be tough to break into that top 10. And so you're not, it's not going to be, you're going to be able to squeak in. You're going to have to take a jump in order to do that. And you're going to need shooting. You're going to need defense. And that's what Griff has ahead of him this summer.
And you really have to do it, right? I mean, as depressing as this is, if you don't make the playoffs next year, like, you're back in blow it up territory.
You are back in major questions territory. The rookie extension for Zion gets on the table next summer. If you're looking at 3 years and not making the playoffs, I mean, in this era of player empowerment, that you might be in trouble, and you're going to have to try and turn this around rather quickly. I don't think that's something that's definitely on the table right now. Don't get me wrong. It's just something that has to be talked about, has to be thought about. But that's why I think you'll see Griff and company start to push in some of those assets maybe this summer. You have all those future Laker picks. You have all those, the Bucks picks, the swaps that you have. You can put protections on those picks. Like you don't have to just straight up give them away. So I think they will be very creative in how they construct this roster to get the best out of Zion, get the best out of Brandon Ingram, and then make themselves in that conversation next year.
So when you look at this weekend's games, Hawks with the gym in Madison Square Garden, Trae Young, just unreal, win 107-105. The Suns, scary moment with CP3. They come through it. They really handle Lakers, really like pole to pole. The Sixers get it done against the Wizards. Wizards still kind of continue to play over their head. And then the Grizzlies with the upset over the Jazz. After these game ones, has your opinion on any of these series changed?
Not entirely. We'll start with Hawks and Knicks. I mean, that one is that's the series that I'm covering right now for ESPN.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
you weren't in New York last night, were you?
No.
Okay.
No, we're still limited on that. Certain people are going to travel within regions. Like Tim Bontemps was. He lives in Boston. He was able to get down to that because he did Brooklyn, New York, back to back. Certain people will travel for TV. That's kind of the only thing I think next year is hopefully when we get back to that. But that's stuff that me and you are concerned about.
Yeah.
Hawks Knicks it's a great series that I think will go 7 games. It's two teams who you didn't think would be here. The Hawks, we're kind of like a trendy, like, okay, they're going to sneak in and get the 8 seed type thing earlier in the season. And then they had a rough start. They fire Lloyd Pierce in the start of March, and then they go 27, I think, and 11 over the rest of the year with Nate McMillan as a coach, and they get in as the 5 seed. The Knicks were picked to finish, by most people, 13th, 14th, or 15th in the Eastern Conference. Nobody really saw this coming from the aforementioned R.J. Barrett. Nobody really saw this coming from Julius Randle. It was a situation where everything kind of clicked. They got it going under Tibbs. They got the defense going. And yesterday was one of those moments where, I think all weekend you saw this. Fans just make sports better.
Yeah.
Whether that's
absolutely,
a completely full Tiger Park, whether that's watching the PGA and watching everything happen with Phil, or watching 15,000 screaming fans in Madison Square Garden, where every bucket sounded like it was a Game 7 game winner. I mean, it was ridiculous, and I think that's why that series I think was the most is going to be the most fun. As far as any other series that I felt like Utah was going to give a game to Memphis at some point, so that's not a surprise. Maybe the Suns might be a little bit of a favorite now over the Lakers. If AD isn't AD, there's only so much I think that LeBron can do as his teammates are hurting. But again, it's LeBron, so you never count out LeBron. But outside of maybe it's that Dallas Clippers series, but I think that one was kind of tossed up anyway. So and nothing has really changed, but it did. I could say this. I don't remember the last time we had all 8 game ones be as good as they were this weekend. And I think that's going to set the NBA up for something really special for this playoffs.
Well, and because of AD, let's highlight Suns Lakers a little bit. AD really a non-factor in a lot of this game. As Mario said earlier in the show, Ayton bringing it to him. From watching him back in his Pels days, anytime he would have one of these like kind of rare off nights, it seemed like the next night he'd come back and give you like 40 and 20. Are you expecting a dominant game 2 out of AD?
Normally I would be, but right now I'm kind of skeptical as to how that heel really feels. Since he came back from injury, I was reading this morning, I think he's shooting like 26% from 3.
Gross.
It's like 10 for 54, 10 for 57. It's something in that area. He has struggled with the longer shot, but one of the best games he had probably all season before or after the injury came against these Phoenix Suns in the final weeks of the regular season. I mean, maybe it was like May 5th or 6th, and he had a classic AD game. So I would like to think that that's what he's going to do. That's how he has typically answered these types of games. LeBron too. I don't think that AD and LeBron probably cared for the fact that Devin Booker outscored the two of them combined. But I worry about how AD really feels right now, and you can tell that the heel, the Achilles is bothering him. So you're trying to see how that's going to work out. But this is a team he has had success against this season, so that kind of would give me hope that he can do it again.
There you go. Andrew Lopez giving you a little NBA preview, talking a little Pels, as he does for the national ESPN crew. The best _Andrew_Lopez on Twitter. Andrew, thank you so much for waking up with us, man.
No problem, man.
All right, take it easy. I'm saying Suns had a week to rest in a much younger team. Lakers only had 3 days to rest in a much older team. We'll see. I thought the Lakers were favored in Vegas. So if Phoenix can pull this off, does this count as a championship for Chris Paul, beating LeBron James? He's played enough of them, so maybe so. If they do manage to beat the Lakers, then is there kind of a clear path to them to the finals? Whatever. We're getting way ahead of ourselves. It's just one game.
I think yes, but yeah.
Yeah, you think yes?
I think so.
If they get through this.
Yeah, if you take out the Lakers in the first round, dude, anything is possible.
That's true. It's very fair. Cue Kevin Garnett. All right, when we get back, let's close out hour number 3. Ask the Bench, brought to you by Cold Coors Light. Coming up next, get your questions in, and we'll answer them.
OTB, OT. In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com. Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust Poll of the Day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, Hanging with Hanny. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the Poll of the Day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
Can you feel it? Spring is almost here, and if you got a new boat for Christmas or you just want to take your boat to a new level, you want front-to-back boat service. HD displays, live sonar that show the fish before you cast, trolling motors. At Front to Back, they got not 1, but 2 NMEA certified techs for all of your marine electronic needs. How does a brand new speaker system sound? Well, guess what? They do that too. So call 225-928-9644 or go to Front to Back Boat Service.
50 years ago on Easter Sunday, Breck's Baton Rouge Zoo proudly opened our doors, and we've been hopping ever since. 5 decades of connecting people with animals, teaching our community about the problems facing wildlife and how we can help, and working with zoos across the world to protect endangered species. Today, our future is taking flight by stretching the possibilities of what your zoo can become, while we keep it fun and affordable for everyone. Thanks for coming along.
It's no secret, the best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
A certified pre-owned vehicle means that it's been certified by factory-trained technicians. It meets a stringent criteria of over 155-point inspection. We want to make sure that vehicle is mechanically sound and that we have a warranty to back it up. There's no mileage limitation. You can be assured that you're driving a vehicle, you got a good value, you'll get that special financing, those special incentives on certain models, and some of the other amenities that you get with a certified pre-owned vehicle.
Starting in 1974, Central Plumbing has served Baton Rouge and surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Through these tough and trying times, we want you to remember that the Payne family is here to continue to support and serve you. As a multi-generational business, there is no job that is too big or too small. Residential, commercial, industrial, hospitality, we're here for anything you need. 24/7, 365. Give us a call, 225-925-8552.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Have you been issued a ticket for texting, speeding, or other traffic violations? Have you made a mistake? We all have.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for Monday's AFR presented by Relief Windows. We'll recap LSU's weekend in College Station, and we'll start to preview the SEC baseball tournament. Join us 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
OTB OT with Hester and T-Bob on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 94.7 ESPN Alexandria.
Yo, what up, y'all? Let me sit back down. Sorry, Danny, not trying to mess up your camera angles. Not a standing day today. Don't know why. But you know our body is the guide, boys. That's what we always say. I know you're happy too, because I'm not doing weird height changes the whole time. All right, it's time for Ask the Bench, brought to you by Cold Coors Light, Vizzy Hard Seltzer, and Sky Blue Moon Wheat. Blue Moon Citrus Sky Wheat. You get the point. Ask the Bench, Cold Coors Light. Hashtag Ask the Bench. Do you intentionally, this comes from our guy Jay Parker, our new video man here, do you intentionally leave out Luka when you discuss all these young NBA players just to trigger me? He's a huge Mavs fan. I'm not leaving out Luka. I don't know why. I don't know why. I actually don't talk more Luka. I kind of love how dirty he is in an age where you're not supposed to be dirty at all, even though I know that you're supposed to not like that. I kind of do. I mean, just straight throwing nut punches is pretty wild, man.
Talking smack, too. I feel like Luka was a nice guy when he entered the league, and now he's kind of a little bit mean. I like that about Luka. I'll give him props there.
Yeah, and he's a beast. I think, did his star cool off just because he was so statistically insane last year and then just more realistic this year, so it just kind of like, he didn't break through to the Nationals as much.
I think so, too, and he had the game winner in the playoffs last year. So I think Luke is just kind of already there in everybody's opinion, which is why we maybe don't discuss him as much.
Hashtag Ask the Bench. Thoughts on Hanny hanging up his headphones? Kind of, after 28 years. I mean, look, we'll talk about it more as the week goes on. But when you're talking about Charles Handgriff, you're talking about an absolute legend of the game, right? 3 decades is nothing to sniff at or nothing to turn your nose up at, no matter what the business is, much less trying to keep people entertained for 3 decades. And he's been fantastic. There's a reason why I made him the lore master on the Song of Purple and Gold, is because he knows LSU and Baton Rouge sports history unlike anybody that I know. And so it is very sad, but I know he's got a great opportunity. And look, at least him and Jimmy will still be doing radio together. So nature is healing. All is right in the world in some respects. Also, that Arkansas fan from this weekend was incredible. We'll have to talk about that tomorrow. Hashtag Ask the Bench. How much would you pay for an NFT of T-Bob throwing his helmet versus Tennessee? Oh, okay. We get into the NFT.
That would be a cool one to have.
$10? Would you pay $10?
I would easily pay $10.
Hell yeah, dude. Okay, that's how it starts. Danny, you paying $10?
Yeah.
You're at a 15? Get a 20? All right, let's go, boys.
NFTs are still pointless to me, but
they're kind of dying a little bit too.
Yeah.
They get the bubbles bursting a little bit. We'll see where they go long term. Hashtag Ask the Bench. Why does anyone play any class besides Bard? Talk about Dungeons & Dragons. I have no idea. As a Bard, you support your friends, you heal them, you buff them, you debuff your enemies, you sacrifice yourself. It's the O-lineman of Dungeons & Dragons played. Hashtag Ask the Bench. If everyone in the world had your personality, what would the world look like? Be very nerdy. Clean public bathrooms available everywhere, and that's kind of it, I guess. What about y'all? Gyms.
Yeah.
Gym seems like the right answer. Yeah.
Danny just wants
not
somewhere
that
to
much of a meathead.
work out anywhere. Rugby would be the national sport.
No. I mean, I love rugby, but not that much.
What about you, Mario? If the world was shaped in your image.
Gym sounds good. Gym sounds right.
Okay. Hell yeah, dude.
Pump that iron.
Hashtag Ask the Bench. What would your travel ball team be named? I don't know, but somebody did say earlier your rapper name is Lil plus the last thing you spent money on, and Lil Cold Brew sounds pretty tight. Like if I could actually spit, Lil Cold Brew would be a good name to do it under. Hashtag Ask the Bench. Has professional sports gotten softer over the years, like tackling a QB to throwing a fastball around a guy's head or begging for a foul? Okay, has professional sports got softer over the years?
Yes.
I think so.
1,000%.
Yeah. But it's by design. I don't think it's by accident.
Yeah,
like the rules literally made it soft. I mean, look at quarterbacks, right? And you know what? As far as quarterback goes, I don't mind because when the starting quarterback get hurt, it sucks. Like, it really sucks. It ruins an entire season for an entire group of people. So, yeah, protect him away. I'm okay with being a bit softer. Hashtag off the ask the bench. Is there going to be a Mandalorian season 3? When does it come out? I believe there is going to be. I do not believe it is soon. I do know that taking the Mandalorian's time slot this fall will be Book of Boba Fett, which, whew, boy, can only get so hot and bothered in the morning. Hashtag ask the bench. Can we go ahead and greenlight Mega Man and King of the Hill live action films? Wow, what a combination there. I don't know that I want to see either live action, though, quite frankly. Even though, Danny, Sonic was a pretty good video game movie, and the reason why
Terrible
is
movie.
because you got Jim Carrey to play Eggman.
Jim Carrey was okay.
Jim Carrey was awesome.
Terrible.
he was very good. Emil McCollum, Little French Truck. That's a pretty good name as well.
I saw the horchata question. Horchata's amazing. I don't know if
Not big into horchata.
Oh my
What's horchata?
God, it's such a-
It's a milk-based drink,
Yeah,
popular in Latin America.
Leche-based drink.
Super
Not
good.
Not to brag, boys. Almost bilingual. You all have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow, Tuesday.
Yeah,
have a great day.
OTB.
$29,990 for a new 2021 Ford F-150. Bayou Ford